Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. Today is Monday, June 1st. We are almost through spring to the first day of summer. Can you guys believe it?
June 1st.
No.
Crazy.
Yeah. Seems like just yesterday.
I'm still trying to start my New Year's Eve resolutions. What are you talking about? It's June.
Oh, no.
I'm several years behind on those.
Well, if you've got a New Year's resolution, a question, a suggestion, a good joke, a word of wisdom, then leave it in the comments. This is your place for helpful crypto news, commentary, and of course, answers to the myriad questions you might have. But first, I am delighted to welcome back our very good friend, Miss Danielle Lukens. Welcome back to the Rise Up Morning Show. How you been?
Yeah, I've been good. Been traveling all over the world at the moment. I'm pretty much out of a suitcase right now, but it's good to be back on the show. Thanks for having me again.
Now, you travel a lot more than I do, so I'm kind of projecting how I think I would feel. But I feel like after leaving a place, because you were in Bali for a minute, right?
Yeah, 2 years.
How has that been to depart? Because I feel like I would be, I mean, granted, Portugal is awesome, but I feel like I would be really sad.
I already miss it. I was like, I need to get out of Bali. I need to experience new things. And then now, because I'm like so out of routine, and I forgot that Europe's so nocturnal. Like everyone does things at, like they have dinner at 10 p.m. I'm like,
so much later. Yeah,
it's so crazy. So,
but to be clear, it's like the best kind of nocturnal because everything closes except for like restaurants and night hangout spots. But like all the stores, all the businesses, everyone's done with work, and then everyone just goes and hangs out. And it starts at like 5 p.m. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm heading over to Barcelona. I was brought up in Spain, so I'm trying to brush up on my Spanish a little bit and just like enjoy that culture and lifestyle for a bit before I head back to Bali sort of towards the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well,
it's awesome.
I've not been to Bali or to that part of Europe, so it sounds like we got to come visit you and hang out.
No, after getting the house tour though from you, Danielle, last time, Bali's on my short list.
Oh my god, the villas there are incredible.
They're so cool.
Good spots, for sure. So you guys should come out to Bali. We should do a live stream in the middle of the jungle. It'd be awesome.
Oh
yeah, that would be sick.
No
that was actually the first place my girlfriend and I went on vacation. In fact, I asked her before we were dating, and she was like, "Are we like boyfriend girlfriend?" And I was like, "Sure. Now let's go to Bali." I was like, yes, we are. Now let's go on the plane. Yeah, Bali's awesome. I'm really excited to go again and finally get like some like local recommendations now that
I'll be the tour guide. I've got all the spots.
Yeah.
We've got Solomon in the comments who says, the wife says, hello, guys, when we getting together for dinner again? And the answer is, once Danielle scouts it out, we're going to Europe, and then we're hitting Bali. It's a 2-stop dinner.
Yeah, meet us in Bali.
If you want to join, then, hey, you know what you need to do is you need to head over to community.rumshq.com. It is the link in bio. It is the place where the show lives 24/7. You can get our addresses there and put your request to join us on the back of 0.075 Bitcoin and or some XRP if you're sending it to Alex, and then we will get you onto the Bali waiting list. You don't have to spend or send a dime to join the community. It's a great place to ask a question, share what you know, learn, grow, and we say rise up. Community.rumshq.com. The only thing missing, my friends, is you. We've already got questions rolling in. So by way of introduction, Danielle, I'd like to kick this to you first. I'd like you to tell the folks a little about who you are and what you do in case they don't know. But then also Chris M, hey Chris, wants to know, what do you think Bitcoin will hit before it rebounds?
Ooh, good question.
Fun question to warm us up with.
Fun question. Okay, well, first of all, my name is Danielle. A lot of people know me as Crypto Crush. Been creating educational content online for, 5-6 years now. Back in the day when me, Evan, and Will were the only ones that did TikTok crypto, and Alex, of course. Sorry, Alex, my bad. But yeah, so now I run an education company called Crush Insights that we're actually launching today. And yeah, I've been around the space for for a long time. I've worked with some of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world, and yeah, just been trying to educate people as much as possible on crypto, but also macroeconomics, stocks, silver, gold, oil, all that good stuff to just get people in and educated around the space. So yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, more about we're going to talk a lot more about Crush Insights, the launch of the new platform later. Do you have a thought about Chris M's Bitcoin conundrum? And I would invite everybody to weigh in on this. Danielle, if you want to share your screen, or Will, I know you usually have the technicals on hand. Let me know. But the question again is, what do we think Bitcoin will hit?
Yeah,
Meaning, bump to before it recovers.
Yeah, I mean, for me right now, it's like pretty key area. We've literally just broken down a bear flag that we've been in for what seems like forever. Let me see if I can get my chart up.
It was fun. We were chatting, and I was just like, I had to turn my trading view quiet because I was just dinging alerts. I was just like, oh god, I'm trying to listen.
Oh, that reminds me. I didn't even look to see how wrong Will is so far today. Let's take a quick. Oh, $73.
Dude,
okay.
Hyperliquid just continuing its march towards 100 and away from my wallet.
It's gonna come down.
Sure it is, buddy. Sure it is, buddy. You keep telling yourself that.
It breaks technical analysis.
It does. It does.
It's representation of the facts.
But yeah, I mean, Bitcoin right now, like it's been in this bear flag for quite some time, and it's tried to break out of it multiple times, but every time it's been rejected. The 200-day moving average rejection here was a pretty clear signal to me that, you know, we're going to head down lower. And now we've just broken, literally today, the 100-day moving average, and we've broken down of this bear flag. So for me, like next target is probably going to be sort of like the mid 60s. I'm in my light buy zone, so like for me, I DCA in Bitcoin whenever I'm in my buy zone. So we've just re-entered it, so I stopped buying here, and I'm probably going to start to DCA, and then I've got a heavy buy zone here as well.
I like that a lot. I don't know that I've ever seen someone bifurcate their buy zone with like levels of intensity before, like that.
I also like that a lot because you know, it's like the temptation. You set a plan, and then like the emotions in the moment can make people or myself or anyone like break their plan. But if you go onto your chart and you just see your plan like labeled there, like hardcore, it does make it a little bit more concrete and harder to kind of, you know, allow the wheels to fall off the bus, you know, due to FOMO.
Yeah, so as soon as Bitcoin gets below 65K, that's my heavy buy zone. So that's when I would like increase the number. As in the light buy is like, you know, most of this was bought around here. And then my sell target's pretty much been like this area between like kind of 80 and 87. So the sells were done around this kind of area. And that was a lot of the stuff that I bought down here. So I bought a lot at 62 and then sold at 80 to 82. And then now whenever we get back into the heavy buy zone, then again I'll start like selling when it starts to go back up again above my light buy zone. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. And then the RSI is like ticking like down here, and obviously the best area to kind of get hold of Bitcoin would be when we're in that oversold territory. So that's kind of how I look at it. And the technicals is very simple because it's on a daily chart, so it's very like long-term swings. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin right now. It's a clear break of structure right now. So heading down lower. The only thing that's keeping up is obviously Hyperliquid, which is a complete anomaly in the market right now, which is great because a lot of us got into hype very early around $11. So but I've been selling off Hyperliquid since around $35. So most of the hype that I have is kind of been sold off now, and yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for hype to start to come back down and reload on that.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, that's been my entire story.
I have a few more limit cells set between here, and I'm really just like scraping little bits off because I don't have a tremendous amount of it, mostly because Will lied to my face and he betrayed me.
The technicals said it was going lower.
Yeah, we have another observation here about the lines in your chart. Sonoran says, scale in, scale out, no emotions. Talk to AI if you must about compounding and accumulation. I have to do this because I can't look at charts all day. And I agree. But this is like, you know, organized and nice. I could be convinced to look at someone else's chart like this.
Yeah, it's not too messy. I mean, for me, it's just, are we in a downtrend, right? We broke that downtrend. We've come to retest it. But now we're breaking the bear flag and bear structure. So we should, from a technical perspective, come back down, at least to the mid 60s. But, we'll see. And then
is it a thing on TradingView where you can like follow people and then click on like a thing to overlay what they do on charts over the ones you look at? That's the thing.
Well, you can follow other people's charts. Like they can share it and make it public, and then you can go and like click that person's chart and you can see it as they update it.
Oh, maybe I should do that.
It would be cool if you could
you
like
should do that.
put overlays like where you could toggle between different people that you like on the same.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
Well, but that should be a thing that goes into Crush Insights is look at Danielle's Bitcoin chart, look at Will's Bitcoin chart, that kind of thing.
yeah, that would be
Would be
sweet.
really pretty cool. Could be the move.
We could do that. Yeah, I think so. We can integrate that. That's a good idea. But
I'll
yeah,
do
that
one.
is,
Do I know what I'm doing? No, but I'll draw some shit.
Yeah.
I am a big
Draw a smiley face for the vibes. That'll be my chart every
I'm
day. Is just
accidentally
how am I
going to
feeling.
discover the
Happy or
real
sad?
trend. I'm gonna crack this science wide open.
Yeah,
Let's just wait.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I don't use this as gospel, but the moon phases as well is pretty accurate. So.
Yeah, but I was pumped because this time it looks like the moon's gonna be wrong, and I was like, I looked at it or like this week or at the end of this week, and I was like, yes, finally. Danielle, I have been in a battle with the moon for years, and then I was like, oh, we'll start tracking it, and then it just started crushing it for the past 2 moon cycles that I was watching, and I was like, son of a bitch, you stupid, I hate this so much. But hey, now I have moon emojis on my chart, and it's silly.
Yeah,
Silly.
it's crazy. I did back testing of it, so usually I only do the new moon like sells during a bear market, and then the full moon buys in a bull market, and that's like an 85% accuracy within back tested within the last 5 years. So that's how I do it. I don't do every single one, but like this one was pretty accurate, so that's kind of how I look at it. But it's an interesting chart for sure.
Yeah. Will, do you want to take over the screen share and add any technical spice? Or we did tease Crush Insights, and since you're here and launching a product, I'm glad to pivot there. What do you got, man?
teased Crush Insights. The only things that I'll mention is like, I mean, my call is Bitcoin to 69K at the bare minimum, and then I think it ends up breaking it. That's where the 200-day exponential moving average is. It's just below 69K, but also there's a futures gap on the daily chart at 69K. I've been calling for, at the bare minimum, a move to, how many times can I say 69K? To 69K. And then I think the 200-day exponential moving average gets broken. Actually, wait, is it the 200-day or is it it's the 200-week exponential moving average. Gets broken, and then we start to potentially explore a double bottom scenario at 60K. But if strength doesn't show up on the chart, then that breaks and we head to about 52K most likely. And then, I don't have a super strong opinion as to like what the bottom is or 50K was the bottom. I see 60K as a possible bottom, but I don't see my long-term 3-month chart end of bear market indicators yet, which we've talked about before. And so I could see several months of selling to come. If that's the case, maybe it's a 60K bottom, maybe it's a 52K bottom, maybe it's like a 44K bottom. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm just waiting to see strength show up on the chart again. And if that's a double bottom at 60K, then hey, then I'll go. Looks like a bottom to me. We move forward. Otherwise, yeah, we're going lower. So, we'll see. In the short term. Mid 60K, like Danielle said, I think that's pretty accurate, but I think we ultimately definitely break 69K. And then Hyperliquid will fall. Please. Please,
Sure,
Hyperliquid fall.
Please.
Fall.
Sure, it will.
Yeah. What kind of a rain dance do I have to do to make that happen? I have been building conviction in Hyperliquid since before the token even like really did anything significant. We were talking to a guy at, Permissionless, who built most of the back end before the team had even 12 people. They just had a handful, and he was really bullish on it. I was like, oh yeah, you guys are making a lot of headlines. And I was telling other people why that particular DEX was going to eat the perp game because of the secret sauce of the order book. I was selling conviction in that before I had enough conviction to buy myself. And now I just feel like an absolute fool. Absolute fool. So hindsight is 2020.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. But maybe if I had been more
That's a tough one though,
insightful,
because you might like the way that you just said that. It kind of sounds like the lesson would be like, don't wait until you've built conviction, just ape. And that would not be the move. It is better
right.
it is always better to miss out on something that ran than it is to, top blast a pile of junk and then just watch it bleed for the next ever.
Mm-hmm. And
Agreed.
also on the bright side too, like Evan and I, you and I are in the same category where it's like we love hype, own none of it. I'm just like, and I'm just watching this blast off, and I'm just like, you feel that pull to want to buy into something. But it's awesome because we're in a bear market, right? And if Hyperliquid's this strong in a bear market, how strong is it going to be in a bull market? So for every asset, everything corrects at some point. And at some point, there will be a correction for Hyperliquid. And at that point, are we going to get the low prices that we probably had before? No, probably not. But we will be able to buy into an asset we believe in that shows strength when others show weakness, that we know has long-term growth and continued adoption, and we can buy into that strength and feel even more confident about our investment. So we just can't top blast ourselves, right? You feel confident that eventually, Evan, you and I and the rest of us who are watching this will be able to buy into it with an extreme level of confidence when it's red.
Allegedly.
Since I know you saw this too, for the people in podcast land, from the timeline, this comes from @FuelKeck, who says, if you bought Hype 40 minutes ago at $72 and sold it now at $74.40, you would have outperformed 6 years of holding Ethereum. So
brutal. I commented on that.
Brutal.
Brutal. Sad but true, but also awesome and true.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, in better news, Danielle, one of the reasons we wanted to bring you here is because you have got something new and cool to help people become better traders, better investors, launching today. We're very excited about it. I'm just going to hand the mic to you and say, will you tell us more about Crush Insights?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess like over the last few years, I've always been asked about like, I get the same questions. I'm sure you guys get the same questions over and over and over again. And it's like, how do we create something where we can kind of answer all of those questions and give people the tools and resources to like really hone in on their not just crypto knowledge, but stock and commodities knowledge, but in a way that's kind of accessible to everyone. So we kind of put together our new platform called Crush Insights. It's an intelligence platform. If I share my screen here, you guys could probably see this right now.
Yep, here it comes.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So what was really important to us is, one, the trackability of your portfolio. A lot of the clients who come to us for coaching privately, a lot of the times they don't even know what they hold. So it's important to have like the, portfolio tracker so they can track all of the assets that they have. So that's one of the things that we've put into the platform. But also we want an intelligence feed, because a lot of people always ask, where do I get my research from? And what I've done is I've pulled in like some of my favorite kind of creators or Twitter profiles, where you can go in and kind of look at like the latest news and get all of that, instead of trying to, pick loads of different random people. So these are kind of my top people that I follow. And then also like aggregating the news. So some of the latest news, you can see here the block 19 minutes ago, CoinDesk 21 minutes ago. So getting like the latest news feed in there as well. And then we wanted to have like active education that's updated like week on week on week. So for us, for example, we've just had our 1st of June here, market structure update for the total crypto market, altcoins, Bitcoin, and then looking at specific altcoins like Injective, for example. These are market structure videos that we do bi-weekly. And then we also have a report. So we have a weekly report that goes out, and basically it wraps up what happened last week, gives you all of the data, not just in crypto, but macroeconomics and all that good stuff. And then you've got like your standard kind of like assets pulling through crypto, stocks, ETFs, commodities, things like that. But one of the important things that we really wanted to pull through was the models. So giving you guys an idea on different portfolio models that you can create for yourself. So some of my favorite ones is like the fund managers feature, for example. So this pulls through like all of the legendary fund managers and what they have in their portfolio, so you guys can see, and you can see the performance in the last 5 years, how they performed, what they hold, things like that. So you can see like George Soros, Michael Burry, for example, just to give like that overall perspective of, what a fund manager's doing. And then you guys, Will, came up with a brilliant idea to add politicians in there. So we've also got, how are politicians performing?
Oh, you built it already. Heck yeah.
Yeah. So
that was so fast.
Yeah. So again, we've got like some of the top performing politicians and what they hold in their portfolio as well. So you can see again, like for example, Josh Godheimer. How do you say that? Do you guys know how to say that?
Gottheimer.
Godheimer.
Sorry. Yeah. So you can see here he's consistently above benchmark, 74% up in the last 5 years. Not so good in 2022, but in general, pretty.
Nobody was. 2022. Looking across the Crush Insights website, crypto was down, stocks were down, everything had its worst year in 2022. Yeah.
And then famously, we've got Nancy Pelosi here,
yes.
net worth 264 million.
Although also notably, she's not the best, which I do think is like she gets all the flack. Which granted, throw the flack, But like, you know. Let's be honest. She's not the best or the most.
No,
prolific.
the best is the guy from Connecticut, which I know, Danielle, you don't know politics, but Connecticut politicians are known for their fraud.
Yeah.
Yeah, Connecticut.
Yeah, Connecticut, and then it's Chicago.
Home
in
state.
particular, those two.
Huzzah.
But yeah, no. So we pull all this data through so you guys can get access to it. But then we also have, crypto portfolios, ETF portfolios, even like AI, tech, healthcare, and we go within like medium, high, low risk, so you guys can see what different types of assets that you could look at. And obviously none of this is financial advice, it's all just examples, but you guys can kind of get an idea of what stocks could I look at in a medium risk capacity in the defense sector, for example, or what's a low risk in the defense sector, which are blue chips. You can see Lockheed Martin, RTX, Northrop Grumman, like very well known. And then you can see the portfolio over the last 5 years. So this is super important. And then on the back of that, we have a 12-week program course that goes through everything to do with, cryptocurrency, crypto exchange setup, decentralization setup, setting up charts, TA, fundamental analysis. So like not just giving you the models, but also giving you the education to really delve into, understanding macro analysis, market psychology, trading, things like that. So you kind of get all of this included in this one-stop shop platform. So that's kind of what we've created for everyone.
And something that I just want to add to that as well, as I was going through the course, because I've always wanted to make a course. Evan's we've all wanted to make a course, but it's like we don't have the time for it. And so as I was going through it too, I think it starts really, really great because this isn't just like this is crypto and this is how you invest and now start doing it. It's like, what are your goals? Understand risk management. Here are the big mistakes that people make, ways to avoid, blah, 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 blah. Just like really setting people up who are just getting into it to really make you start thinking about the things that mess people up, right? Before getting into, okay, now this is how you actually start doing it. So I thought it's great.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's the platform that I want to build. And the cool thing is for all the friends who are familiar with the Rise Up community, it's built on the same engine, Circle. So a lot of our audience will have an easy time navigating it. Everybody in the chat wants to know though, what's the link? What's the link? What's the link? And I'm very pleased to say that everybody watching the show has an exclusive, very special link you can use to try the platform and support the show. It's on the screen. And for people in podcast land, we have done you the service of prepping this link over at RUMS HQ. So it's crushinsights.io. But then there's a / ref = rise up. You don't have to remember that. You just got to remember rumshq.com. Scroll down, and thanks to my good friend, Mr. Alex Popovich, you can try this website and help the show. It's just $9.99 a month. Is that right? To access everything.
Yeah, but it looks like there's a founding price right now. It's like $1.
I think that might be a promotion that's ended. Am I wrong, Danielle?
Yeah, so that was the founding members, but I think for you guys get a discount on the first month. But yeah, normal pricing is $9.99 a month. Like
$9.
Yeah, it's crazy value.
It's
$10.
crazy valuable. Those lessons alone that you were talking about, Will, I went through them because I'm very picky about that kind of stuff. And I said to Danielle when we were first talking about this, look, I have real concerns about sending people who trust us anywhere else because frankly, I find that almost nobody has the same standard of like you know, it's not just like, can you explain what Bitcoin is? It's like, what are you going to say when you say it? How are you going to explain it? And what are you going to tell people to do next? Can I trust you for my mother to call you and talk about this stuff? Like, are you going to give her more questions? Are you going to do something misleading or irresponsible? I like Danielle a lot. I think she's a great teacher, but you know, I was like, you gotta convince us. And I think these classes are really, really solid. And especially the ability to be so responsive. Like, I appreciate that you and your team have been inviting of feedback. And I'm thinking we might have to keep cooking more features. The politicians tracker is great, but I definitely think you need a link to see, like, here's our charts on TradingView, or here's Will's charts on TradingView, or we'll send you the link for Doug's squiggles.
Especially because he forgets about his squiggles. Danielle, like Doug will draw squiggles on a chart. He'll just look at a chart. It's going to do that. And then you're long, you're short there. And then he'll forget about it. And I'll say, hey, dude, have you looked at this crypto? He goes, he gets real quiet. And he goes, dude, I drew a squiggle on that 4 months ago. And he's like, yeah, because he knows it's going to be perfect. And he'll pull it up in about 9 times out of 10. It's perfect. And he's like, I would have made so much money. And so he's been trying for years, but he's too busy. And he's a little ADHD, and he's been trying to like build an app that will set trades based on squiggles he draws, and he can just set it and forget it. He's like, it'll work out. But we could just pull his squiggles, and then we'll make money off of him. So like that'll be fine. And you know, I'll Venmo him $10 every now and again. He'll love it.
Okay, if you've got a question about Crush Insights, let us know. We have got several, including rapid fire. Danielle, are the moon cycles on Crush Insights?
That's
they
also
are
good.
Yeah, maybe we should add that in as well. I love this. We can build this out super quick, which is like what the good thing about having our own proprietary software is, that we have complete control over what features we add and don't add. So if anyone wants anything added, we can definitely consider it. So I think the TradingView idea, chart, like seeing everyone's charts, is quite a good idea. So we'll definitely look at that. And then I add moon phases onto my chart anyway, so we can add that in also.
We've got a couple of other questions. Like Solom wants to know, does it have a horizon calculator and a risk calculator? I think he means exit like time horizon calculator. And you've got the portfolio tool in there too. I was going to ask you to show maybe.
Yeah, so we do. Inside the course, there is like a couple of resources which has a risk calculator in there. But maybe if we integrate a risk calculator in there specifically, we could also do that.
Can you show where like the portfolio tracker is? I've got your screen share back up, and for people in podcast land, you know, you need to come to YouTube. We've got the video recording. You can see Danielle's face and the Crush Insights platform there. And just to anticipate the question, we will continue, if this is something you're interested in looking at a little further, to unpack this. We've been through it. We can answer your questions about it in the Circle community, in an after show, in an office hours, in the comments. Go ahead, Danielle.
Sorry, so what was the question?
The question is about whether or not you have like a risk calculator, and there are several places on the website you talk about risk and help people assess risk, but then a horizon calculator. I think they mean a take profit calculator. That's why I mentioned the portfolio tool, because it helps you see like what you have, when you bought it, what it cost.
Yeah, so there's a sold area here. So you've got your assets, your history, sold, and then just deleted assets. So if you go in and essentially add your assets, if you ever sell anything, then it's going to go in here and it's going to give the realized P&L as well.
What about a profit planner? Is there one of those yet?
A profit planner, as in like having your own...
Like a tab in my portfolio that says, these are the assets I hold. Based on when I bought them, I want to take profit 3 times so that I can constantly readjust what I think my exit strategy is. I'm planning to take profit in the next year or whatever, and I'm going to do it over 4 orders, and maybe a calculator that even says, actually, you know, you could be more conservative and do it in 6 orders because the volatility has gone 10% both directions 20 times in the last year, whatever. Something like that, a tool where I can also write that down where I've got my portfolio information would be cool to see.
Yeah, we don't have that at the moment, but we can
noodle it. I've got it noted.
Yeah, write it down, guys. Write it down. Send us a list, and we'll get it sorted. That's a good idea, because I actually have my own exit strategy plan, but I have mine on a spreadsheet, so it's actually a pretty good idea to get.
My secret hope is also, I don't know if you know about Blockchain Basecamp, and We cannot also maybe do a screen share, or maybe we can, of that today. But I feel like there are a lot of features in that that we've picked on Alex to build this, and it's mostly oriented around simulating experiences you'll encounter in crypto. I almost feel like, Alex, if she hasn't seen it, would you do me the honors?
I just want for posterity to note, please, here that Evan requested this. Evan asked
I am
for
a
it.
big fan of this.
Evan wants to see the tax app.
It's
And
not
yes,
just a tax app, man.
absolutely.
It's blockchain Basecamp.
No, it's actually not just a tax app, and actually I've pulled pretty much all the tax stuff out because first of all, Jessica's is exponentially better, and oh my god, it's so much maintenance to like keep a tax app relevant. And I was like, you know what, the simulators are way better anyway. So
Yeah.
okay. It takes a second to load because it's on like a Replit sandbox.
That's
environment.
totally fine. While Alex loads it, let me remind you that if you need to get the referral link, you want to be like Solom, who says, I signed up, love it, then you can get that at rumshq.com. It's the link in our bio, wherever you are, whenever you listen. I will show it on screen one more time. crushinsights.io/?ref equal rise up. Just remember rumshq.com. You can get it there right on the front page. And if you've got a question like newborn nesting, who wanted to know how to look up which wallets hold a token or something else, then hold tight. Don't fret, don't sweat. We've got Danielle for a little bit longer. We're going to let her go after a moment so she can continue to work on this and spread the good word of the platform. And then we will absolutely answer your questions. We're live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. And did you know you can catch all of our episodes on your favorite podcasting platform or in a YouTube playlist? Watch us on your TV, people. We would love for you to catch up and ask us a question, leave us a review. And when you do, don't forget to say thank you to the sponsors that make this show possible. I'm talking about Arculus, the official cold storage sponsor of RiseUp, and Jito, whose new platform, JTX, will unlock trading. It's where smart money trades. We've got a referral link to that too at the recommended tools and deals tab. You can sign up for the Purple Wallet, so much more. So much good stuff waiting for you at rumshq.com.
Yeah, remind us too to, Daniel, get you a JTX link if you want it.
Yeah, we want to have a workshop with the Jito team sometime soon to bring together all of our creator friends, our teacher friends, our pro trader friends in one room so that they can really stress test in a concentrated way the features of their platform with like a valuable focus group. So you'll definitely get an invite for that.
And then let them know if they measure up and can really compete with Hyperliquid.
Yeah, that's
what they're gunning
feedback.
for.
What do you got for me, Alex?
All right.
Need another second?
Nope, we're good.
Okay, brace yourselves.
Brace yourself. It's been a while
All right.
since I've seen the tax app you've been
Brace
building.
yourself.
It's been a minute. Okay, so let me think here. Where did I put stuff? If you couldn't tell, so shout out to Replit, by the way, just because this place is super cool. But they have this neat thing called Canvas. So as you can see, I was experimenting with all kinds of different layouts and whatever, and you can just like make a little tree without losing any of the original versions and like fake edit stuff without actually pushing any changes to the thing you're building. And then at any point you can like go back to any stage in this and like start from there or continue builds from any of these. It's crazy. But under this whole practice thing, so first of all, you could, well, we skipped over the private key thing. Don't worry about that.
No. We've got it recorded for sure, though. It's a very cool feature. You can save your session with a private key. You never need to reveal any personal information.
It's a totally anonymous, no data stored way to like save your sessions and save your progress without ever having to give any information. But there's all these simulators. So if you have never set up a wallet, you can click through this and it will, prompt you into all of this is like contained in a sandbox. It'll like, prompt you for passwords and it'll generate a fake seed phrase and kind of run you through like what that process looks like. And then you can toggle back and forth between like different classic examples. So like, the difference between setting up a wallet with, I don't know, your like a ledger process versus a MetaMask process, like something to make them look a little more similar. Send and receive. So this is like a place where you can fake, add addresses and practice confirming and double checking addresses. And there's even like a bug baked into this one where after you put in an address and before you go to the confirmation step, it will change a character at random and see if you can like catch it in the proofread and fix it. Otherwise, it will pop up and say, "Whoops," and you sent your crypto to the wrong place.
Can you show the? You told me about this, but I haven't seen it yet. The pig butchering. Can we get pig butchered?
Yes. Oh,
Who-
sort of. Yeah.
Did you
So,
build this, Alex?
well, kinda. Yeah. I just have been vibe
Yes,
coding it.
he built it.
He's-
The fact that Replit helped him build it does not negate the fact that Alex built it.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome.
But I'll take some credit for it because I pick on him to share it all the time.
So there's a scam spotter, which is just like it takes lots of different. I can't remember how many are in here right now, but it takes lots of like classically perpetrated scams and then quizzes you. So right now it's not super comprehensive, but basically it's just like here's a little fake website phishing, or is it? And you would have to determine whether or not you think that this looks legit. So you could say, like, if you click looks great, then it's like, oh, and here's a warning and a mini lesson about phishing and what can happen if you get phished and how to check links and all that sort of stuff. Next, let's see what's here.
Oh, Coinbase
the
support
fake,
message.
yeah, the fake
scam.
support message.
Yeah.
So if you don't think it looks good, then you can call it as a scam, and it'll give you a little bit of insight as to why. Exchange, yeah. There's a handful, so it's kind of just like a quiz that you can run through. And
Dude, this is cool. It's been a while since I've seen this.
thanks, man.
Alex is always adding. We're really trying to bully Alex into publishing this, but maybe the move is that it becomes a section in Crush Insights Blockchain Basecamp where you get to practice the skills you'll apply in the real world.
Yeah, toss
Safe
a sandbox in there, and I'll send you all the simulators.
You guys have got the code. We can port that in.
Yeah, I think actually Replit is pretty good about exporting code. So we can talk about that because that would be super cool. It'd be cool to see this live somewhere.
Oh yeah, we can definitely put that in there. If it's already built, we can literally port that in.
There's even a fake leverage trader where you can paper trade with fake money through leverage and watch how fast you get liquidated.
That's so cool.
But anyway, yeah, it's been a lot of fun to put together. I haven't there's like a test demo that's been published and it's currently in our circle, so you can actually like go through and mess around with all this kind of stuff, and the private key thing is there. It's pretty sweet.
I can see people in the comments are saying add it to Crush Insights, so I think we might have to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. And of course, if people have other ideas for the kind of features you'd want to see, let us know. Danielle has said to us that this is the launch, but it doesn't mean that they're done building. They're really going to consider lots of feedback to make Crush Insights the kind of platform that gives you everything you need. And that's how
anybody
we see
who's ever launched anything knows that the first day of your launch is just the beginning.
Yeah, exactly. Danielle, there is a question here coming up for you about meetups. Do you have any plans to host any meetups in the UK or, now that you're in Europe, maybe somewhere else abroad anytime soon? Do you do meetups?
I have done like private meetups with my like inner circle like coaching clients, but I haven't done any like public ones. Maybe once I'm in America, that could be a good idea because I have a lot of my audience is in America. So yeah, I'm going to be kind of that way. I probably prefer to do it like we should do like a satellite side event at some kind of conference and then invite our audiences. That would be kind of cool.
I agree.
That'd be
You
cool.
couldn't have set me up better for this to say that the Rise Up team, all of us, I'm talking about Tori and Matthew are coming also.
Yep.
And even the lovely Kimberly is going to be there to take some headshots to make
So is
sure we
Violet.
really look good. Violet is going to be there. Christina, it's not too late to come. I'm just saying.
It's too late.
It's too late. Okay. All right. Okay. But we want you to join us there too. We are going to be at PubKey, New York. It's one of the first businesses to accept Bitcoin for payment. They've got a location in Washington, D.C. too. And it's a really cool vibe. June 8th, 5 to 8 p.m. local time is when we're planning on being there. They've got another event coming up at 8. So they said, got to get the heck out. And I said, okay, no problem. So we might have to go there later, but it's a great, fun place to go. If you're a Bitcoiner, if you're a crypto person, they've got a great vibe, usually have cool events. June 8th, 5 to 8 p.m., Rise Up is taking over PubKey, and we would love to see you there. If you're local to the New York area or you just want to take a fun trip, you're going to be able to meet Alex, Will, Matthew, Tori, even me. We'd love to see you there.
Even Evan.
So, could be the move. Danielle, you could get a plane ticket. We would be glad to have you there. We want to start doing that more too, like the IRL extension of the communities we build online, because it just feels so good to get together with our friends.
Yeah, and I've started getting recognized a lot more now. Like I got recognized in Bali because it's a digital nomad hood, but since I've been traveling, I've been recognized a lot more. So I know that people like really want to do like the meetups and stuff. So yeah, I think definitely when I'm in America for sure, would love to set up something with you guys as well, and maybe do something together. I think that would be super fun, even if it's like New York or Miami, like that kind of area. I think would be awesome.
Miami could be the move.
God, you guys have been going to Miami a lot.
Yeah,
without me.
Let the record show he was invited every time.
I can't. I know. Well, we just gotta.
It's hard to fit in all these business trips in between his ski resort retreats and his.
Hey, someone has to
keep the slopes.
Someone has to keep that condo going. On the ski mountain. Someone's got to. Keep checking out on the place.
That's right. That's right.
We've
got Wall Street. Friend of the show in the comments saying another perfect match for a collaboration could be trackmytrades.io. So there you go. Thank you for the tip. Wall Street, I'm sure we'll send you a message about this, has their own proprietary indicator. I don't want to misrepresent it, and I don't want to spill the secret sauce live publicly, but it might be another kind of cool indicator. I'm sure he'll send you an email about it based on his years of experience on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, et cetera. Longtime Wall Streeter, as the name implies. I'm sure it's pretty cool. So Danielle, I think we've got you for just a couple of more minutes. I would love to defer to you to know, is there anything that we didn't ask about on the Crush Insights platform that you would like to share? Or is there anything that you're watching in the markets that you think is worth addressing? Anything at all that we can do to make better use of your time before we say bye-bye for now?
The only thing like with the markets right now is just obviously being careful of like where the market is right now. So obviously with stocks getting into new all-time high territory, a lot of it driven by AI, which a lot of those revenues are kind of puffed up in the numbers, is to just be careful of like, jumping in quite late, because I feel like we're in a late stage cycle for the stock market, of which will probably end up, kind of retreating and coming down relatively soon. So, and to me, probably the top of the stock market is probably going to coincide with the bottom of where Bitcoin's going to settle. So just knowing that there's like that level of discrepancy there. So just being careful with where valuations are with stocks at the moment. Crypto looks a lot more undervalued and, a better entry point right now for a lot of assets in comparison to kind of the stock market, because I'm getting a lot of questions about, should I buy this AI stock? Should I buy this stock, that stock? And it's like, yeah, I think long term there's, reason to DCA into the stock market as there is always, but just being careful with being too selective and, getting in at those tops. We don't want to repeat of buying the tops of Bitcoin the same as buying the tops of like AI stocks right now. So that's kind of my 2 cents on where the market sits at the moment.
Alex, you just noted in the comments that Hyperliquid has hit another all-time high.
Yep.
Time.
I wanted to show this on screen while we had it here. This is another thing in Crush Insights I like, which is, you showed this, but I want to dive into it. There are these model portfolios for crypto, ETFs, AI, tech, healthcare, energy, like all these different blends of assets, depending on whether you're a low risk, medium risk, high risk investor. Sample portfolios with their past years of performance. And just to show you, since our audience will be more familiar with the crypto, there's the blue chip, low risk. It's 52% Bitcoin, 30% ETH, then 10% SOL, 5% BNB, 3% USD coin as cash. The growth layer I thought was really interesting too. It's BTC ETH Sol with some hype thrown in, Coinbase stock, Circle stock, and then Canton Network. So very cool way if you're somebody like the folks in our comments who are asking, hey, I'm not watching crypto right now. What stocks should I be paying attention to? I'm really interested to know, like, who is the AI stock to buy? Or what is the defense stock to buy? Are there ETFs I should be thinking about? You can get that information here too. More over time, but a killer start.
Yeah, it's also diversified as well. So there's a tab there that kind of has a blend of everything. So it's like conjuncted into one. So you can kind of look and see that there's, global balanced portfolios. There's more, kind of safe bet. Like you've got gold in there. You've got the S&P 500, things like that,
Yeah.
So you can diversify across, and that's low risk. But again, like medium risk, high risk options are there. So yeah.
And if you don't know where to trade these things, then obviously you can ask us, you can leave a comment, we can help you out, but they've got a link here to exchange partners. And I'm sure that helps the platform when you use these links to get to BitUnix or Blowfin or whoever else is going to help you to do this or that kind of trading. Yeah. More over time, I imagine.
I finally used, so Kraken on the mobile app now has this neat little thing with their limit trades directly from the asset page. So if you click on, like whatever, I don't know, hype, and it has the little chart, you can literally just like poke the chart wherever you want the whatever trade to be set up for, and it will prompt you, buy or sell here, or just set an alert. And you can do it wherever. It's super, super, super easy. I was very impressed.
Speaking of being very impressed, Michael Saylor started selling Bitcoin.
No.
Very, very impressed at his never sell Bitcoin conviction. Super impressed by it. But yeah, he sold 32 Bitcoin. By he, I mean strategy. So, strategy, MicroStrategy. Sold 32 Bitcoin for $2.5 million, which seems like, well, why'd you even do that? I feel like they just wanted to like test the waters to see how much people panicked that they actually sold it. But, I've been talking about how strategy has just been warming us up for like 6 months of the idea of them finally actually selling some Bitcoin. And now they sold $2.5 million worth. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
in the grand scheme of like how much Bitcoin that dude has, $2.5 million worth is absolutely
like nothing. It's literally just them trying to get like the initial headlines out of the fact that they have now sold Bitcoin. That's literally it.
It's a temperature test.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they'll sell more later. Don't worry.
They will sell more later.
Don't worry if you're waiting to buy.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to cover the debt that he took out like a few months ago, no?
And you know what? I support you, Michael. Give me cheaper Bitcoin, please.
Danielle, it looks like we're getting some reports that there are a few folks who are having a hard time when they click the link like Bearded, that it's not showing as live yet. So what I would say to you is if you're having a fret or a problem with the site, try a hard refresh, clear your cache, clear your cookies. And if it continues to be a problem, don't hesitate to leave us a comment. We will figure it out with you. The best place to get in touch with us to figure that out is community.rumshq.com. It's the link in our bio. If you go to RumsHQ to get the referral link to Crush Insights, you will find it there. We would love to see you. Don't fret. But congratulations on launching an awesome tool. Because
it's so cool.
It is so cool. It really is so cool. And I think it's going to help a lot of people.
Yeah, if there's any issues, just feel free to reach out. We've got support live working now. So it might just be the banner at the top. If you hard refresh, you should still be able to sign up anyway.
Yeah, I went on the site a little bit ago and I had the banner, hey, it's still not live. And then I just refreshed it and it opened up. So yeah.
Great. Awesome. Yeah. Any issues, just feel free to reach out and we'll get you guys onboarded.
Awesome. Thank you. Danielle, do you have a final thought, last question, good joke, word of wisdom for the folks before we say see ya?
I guess I do have one thing actually. There's like, I don't know if this is happening with you guys, but it's happening with me at the moment where I'm being bombarded with like impersonators and people like pretending to be
All the ways.
so it's probably the most apparent that it's become, to my knowledge, in the last 5-6 years I've been doing content. It's been really, really bad the last couple of weeks. So please just make sure that like you're double checking the links. You only follow all of our socials that are the verified accounts. Like, none of you guys have second accounts, right? You only have just like
I have a second account, but I don't advertise it. It's linked in my profile. It only follows me, but I will never, ever, ever message anyone anywhere from a second account and say, hey, this is me. Ever, ever, ever.
So just being vigilant and being careful around that, because I'm getting messages from my audience saying that there's 50 accounts that are following me, that, you know, it's like a different version of you. And I'm like, please just don't. It's an impersonator. They're trying to scam you. Like, I'm not going to text you on WhatsApp or Telegram. Like, that's just not me, you know? So just being very careful out there, because people are genuinely actually getting scammed by people impersonating all of us, and it's like such a shame. So I really appreciate, you know, what you guys just showed me in terms of the, you know, protecting yourself against crypto wallet hacks and things like that, but also we should be aware that there's you know, scams being put on social media as well, and just to be careful around that, and just make sure that you're only following the verified accounts. And yeah, we won't ask you for your seed phrase.
Never.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the plan was to have the sandbox have a little fake inbox in the corner and randomly send you messages like from the platform that would like prompt you for a question or for something, and if you acknowledge it or respond or whatever, then it would yell at you for being scammed. Because yeah, every DM is a scam. Just ignore them. You're not going to miss anything.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm. Don't connect your wallet to any weird sites. Like, that's the number one thing. We'll never ask you to connect your wallet to anything. So yeah.
No, and if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. There is absolutely nothing wrong with slowing down, getting a comment, a question, you know, coming to a community where you can ask one of us that, you know, it's an official channel, like, hey, what's going on here? Nobody's going to be mad at you because you got suspicious. Is that really you, Alex? He's going to be like, good on you for asking. So stay safe out there. She is Crypto Crush Media founder, and now creator of Crush Insights. She is your friend and mine. Say thank you with me to Danielle Lukens. Thanks for making time.
Thank you guys for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll see you soon. Bye.
Catch you later, guys. Peace out.
And if you have a question, a suggestion, a good joke, a word of wisdom, you got something you want us to dig into before we ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset, then let us know. Will, now that Michael Saylor is selling, are you selling your Bitcoin?
Nope.
Darn right. When Danielle said she sold hers as it hit 82, I was like, I see what you're doing there. You're trading your Bitcoin, but also,
I mean, hey, you can trade every asset. Just yeah. Every asset can be sold, everybody, even Bitcoin. And all be
that's
sold.
right. I might sell it one day, but right now they'll have to pry it from my cold, dead fingers. We have a really good question that came in from Newborn Nesting at the top of the show that I would like us to dig into, because someone was saying about Hyperliquid. They're saying, I think it was a spam comment. They said, missed Hyperliquid? Check out VVV. Though I don't know why somebody would be spamming a major token. VVV is the token for Venice AI. We've been talking about Venice for a couple of years now, since before the token launched. It is a model that allows you to interact with all the big AI models by Gemini, by OpenAI, Anthropic, etc., and even some of the smaller or open source models without needing to reveal your personal information. Those companies, when you sign up for a subscription, get a ton of information about you. They track a ton of information about your usage, your location, so on, so forth. It's legal. You gave them permission to do it when you click that little box. This is a company that for now says, trust me, bro. But the founder, Eric Voorhees, says based on his reputation in crypto, he feels comfortable asking people to do that as they take even more meaningful steps towards decentralization. You can try it at Venice.ai. But the question we're answering today is, I've heard only 10 wallets hold VVV tokens. Is this true? And more importantly, how would I find this out? Now, we've talked about how to read a blockchain explorer on the show before. We've talked about bubble maps on the show before, but Alex, Will, if you had to start from scratch to figure out who owns a token I'm talking about corporate entities and also maybe retail consumers. What's the process you'd follow? What are the places you would go? Let's figure this out and get to the bottom of this Venice AI ownership question.
2 steps for me. First of all, head to it's usually the white paper, but now honestly you can have like an LLM, read the white paper for you, but it's always good to check what the LLM gives you, right? And then go under the token allocation. You also have a couple other tools that you can use. Oh, it's been a little while since I've done it myself. Let's see. What are some of the ones that will like easily pull it up?
So the one I liked and that we've both used is Tokenomist.
Tokenomics. Yeah, Tokenomics. There's also Token Unlock as well. You have to give them like your Gmail, but you can pull it up too. But it'll show you the token allocation, which is when the token is created, initially, not just the supply that's brought into the market, but just like in total, like, when the project is created, it'll say, hey, venture capitalists are getting this amount. The team's going to get this amount, so on and so forth, up until 100% of token supply. It'll tell you, when those tokens unlock, and will give you the inflation rates. But more importantly, it tells you who is going to get those tokens within those groups. So you can get a little bit of a high-level overview as to who really controls the supply, what groups. And based on that, you can get an idea as to how aggressive maybe the selling of the token would be initially once those tokens are unlocked. So there's that from a high level, and then Evan and Alex let you guys get into the details. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to go to a blockchain explorer for that cryptocurrency to see what and how many wallets actually hold what percentage of the supply that has been, released. So you can go and check that out and see it on the blockchain.
I've got Tokenomist up right here, and they are increasingly putting their metrics behind a paywall, which I get, but a lot of them are still free, including a basic allocation to different groups. This is showing you groups allocations like...
Evan, I'll share for the folks on TikTok, so you don't have to...
Thank you.
Yeah, do
Too kind. They have lots of little definitions and things, but you can see right here that of this tokens allocation, the total supply, 35% was allocated to an airdrop, that 30% was allocated to emissions. This is a dynamic release. This basically means how are more tokens brought onto the open market from circulation? For example, Solana inflates its supply by a decreasing amount every year, but it used to be like 8%. Now it's like 5%, then it's 4%. ETH, Polygon, all your favorite tokens have emissions that determine who get those unlocked tokens. Usually these are people who are staking or something like that. The company treasury gets 17%. The team and contributors get 7%. The Venice Incentive Fund, that's like probably a grants program to incentivize builders. They pay those people in their own tokens. Everybody does this. XRP does this. Stellar does this, those tokens. And liquidity deployment. These are tokens that are usually reserved for like market making partners, maybe a Binance or someone like that who launched a listing for the token right when the airdrop went live. This is pretty common. I would say, just looking at this, the insight to take away, guys, correct me if you feel differently, that's a pretty hefty airdrop. Yep. But everything else on this looks really, I would say, like standard or good. There's not a ton of tokens given to insiders like the team, early investors, or like liquidity deployment partners. That would be a red flag to me potentially. A lot of tokens will have the teams get up to like 20 or 25% and earn criticism for it, but 35% is a big friggin' airdrop. And you may remember that when the token launched, the chart just cratered because everybody who got that airdrop sold that thing so fast.
As you should, and as does every chart.
Yes.
As you should.
Okay, Alex, you want me to pass the torch to you? That's Tokenomist.ist.ai. They have a lot more, but let's dig into it further. How can we find specifically like how many people hold this token in their wallets?
All right. Sure. Pull up the token on CoinMarketCap. Let's just start there. And here we go. It's currently sitting at number 63 on the ranks. It's up decently this month, which is why everyone has been talking about it. Basically, all you have to do, every token has a profile page. over here on the left side of your screen is kind of the info hub with all of the stuff. You can find links to their documentation, their website, their social links, all sorts of stuff. We are most interested in this right here, the contract address. You can see here which chain it's on. They only have the one listed. So we can see right here that it's on base, the logo right there. And then actually here, you can just go straight to they save you the step. You can go straight to Basescan.
Gotta love the UX when it's good.
.org. So you pop over here. This is a blockchain explorer for the Base network. And all you need to do.
Wait a second. Look at that number right at the top, right above your mouse, holders. It tells us right there, left, in the first widget under overview. So like at a cursory glance, if you looked at nothing else and just wanted to know how many wallets hold this token.
136,066.
Now, where were you going to take it? Because you were going to probably look at top holders, weren't you?
Yeah, you can break this down into all sorts of stuff. And they have refreshed this interface. Most of this is now just displayed right here without having to click anything.
Looks nice.
So we were going to go right here to holder concentration, which is where you can see what the breakdown is of top holders. What is this? So yeah, the top here, a notable problem would be that the top 5 wallets seem to hold most of it.
Yeah.
Like 88%, pretty much all of it.
But that's not necessarily a cause for concern if, for example, they have like an emissions schedule that makes sense.
Correct. Yeah, you'd want to be aware of why that is. The holder over here is this is a new thing that I haven't actually seen before, but tier distribution has this by wallet size.
Yeah.
So whales make up 0.14% of the total holder count, but they hold 98.66% of the market cap of this entire token. So that is a little bit of a concern. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things. You'd have to ask yourself, like, okay, do I care? Am I trading this thing? Am I, I'm not tucking a token like this into my 401k, but if it was like trending super hard and there was a chance to swing something, then I guess maybe. I don't know. In general, I'm not interested in cryptos like this. Just honestly, but that's where you would go to find all the information. You can read it directly off the blockchain, then you don't have to take anyone's word for it.
It's just beautiful. I'm curious to see if Etherscan has that feature because I
Probably.
wanted to see.
Basescan is just a reskin of Etherscan.
Yeah, but you know what? Top tokens. Let me see. Because I want to see that is a concerning distribution, but a lot of tokens have a distribution, frankly, that looks like that.
Yes, Etherscan is identical in every way, shape, or form. If you were to pull it up for...
Got it.
Yep.
You know what's weird is I've got Wrapped ETH, I've got
Pepe.
ST ETH. Okay. Can you find I was going to look for the Ethereum token, but it's fine. It's fine to do this. What's it look like for that? The whale, let me see. Whale accumulation.
Yep, same kind of deal. Just about 90%.
A little less top heavy, but
A
barely.
little bit, but not enough to really make much of a difference.
Even Bitcoin is quite top heavy with
Yeah,
the largest holders holding
it's worth
most of it.
It's worth noting too that this metric, I just realized how skewed this is. So the top holder count for these whale wallets that hold, I think they just said it's more than $100,000. If you come down here, you can see what those wallets are specifically, and pretty much all of them are exchanges. So it's even less of a concern. I mean, you can see here the number one wallet that's holding almost over 13% of the supply is just one of Binance's many wallets. So all that indicates is that's where most people are trading it.
Mm-hmm. Gentlemen, I'm sorry to do this a little herky jerky, but I do have to get running. I gotta get out of here. And handle a few other things that are a little time pressing for me.
Well, then at least do me the honor before you ride your dog and pony into the sunset of giving me a final thought.
My final thought is that bear markets can last a lot longer than bull markets feel like they last. So, can make sure you analyze the market and you genuinely, if you really think there's a bottom, make sure it's what you really think and not what someone else thinks. cross-validate what people are saying and what you think against people who disagree with you, and try to look at the market how they see it, and see if there's something you can learn and pick up from that, whether it's bull to bear, bear to bull. Always make sure you're looking at both scenarios, and manage your risk appropriately. At times where markets like crypto are so red, except for Hyperliquid and Zcash and Tron, maybe like 2 other ones, it's good to wait and enter a market while it has strength, even if you can't get the lower price that you could have possibly gotten. It's a much better position to be there, because then you can be more confident about the possibility of making money. Because where you buy a token doesn't matter. The price point doesn't matter. What matters is your percentage return. Let's focus on that. So with that, everybody, I got to run. Evan, Alex, I want to chat with you guys later at some point today, just about New York. Okay. Maybe tomorrow then. And I'll see you guys later. Oh, and I'll see everybody tonight for Market Watch at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see if Doug's available tonight, and then we'll be doing some charting. So if everyone has TA requests, hop on in later tonight, or wherever you are in the world, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, basically 11 hours from now. And I'll see y'all then.
He's your friend and mine, Mr. William Watson. See you, Will.
Yep.
You can leave your requests for TA and so much more at community.rumshq.com. Alex, you having a little disco party over there? That was cool.
I was trying to fix this light shining in my eyes, and I accidentally changed it to rainbow, and it just started strobing every color of the rainbow at me.
Absolutely love it. Carol says, have a great day, Will. Make a bunch of money. Do good things.
So I did a thing, and I would like to share it.
I would like to see it.
So check this out. Okay, so the context here. I saw several posts on Twitter the other day that were basically all talking about how OR, the token ORE, is undervalued compared to revenue, and how they make a lot of revenue, and yet the token has cratered in price. So for anyone who's not familiar, OR is currently it's the main token of this Solana native DeFi protocol, and I'm putting DeFi protocol in quotes because it's kind of it's a gambling game. Basically, what you can do, it used to be more of a proof of work kind of thing, and it still kind of masquerades as semi proof of work, mining related, but it basically just lets you gamble and bet on where the next Solana validate or block is going to be validated, and you can win some SOL if you're right. It's a gambling game.
Got it. Okay.
However, as we know, things that are gamble focused often generate the most revenue inside of the crypto space, and so I did a quick check, and I just want to take you guys on the little path that I went down to arrive at my conclusion, which was I wouldn't touch this thing.
Okay.
So the first thing I did, just because I'm very spoiled, is I went over to DeFi Llama.
You going to show this on the screen? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay, podcast land, you know what you got to do.
So what I did was I hopped over to DeFi Llama's AI, which is this is a paywalled feature. It's one of the only ones. So you can actually look up everything. If you just typed ORE in the search bar, you could find all of this information. I just had the little the AI organize it for me in this beautiful report. So the prompt that I asked it was, talk to me about ORE. I want a full picture of the ecosystem, protocols, options, yield opportunities, protocol revenue, and anything else that you can find. And it wrote me this little deal. And coming down here, it gives you first an overview of what the thing is. Here's a revenue snapshot. You can see right here that this is probably why people are talking about it. Their revenue is up 85.5% in the last month. Current daily revenue, $122,902. That is the most previous 24 hours.
Yeah. And
then 7 days and 30 days. And then there's annualized, which is an estimate based on the previous month. So take the last 30 days and multiply it by 12. So it's not perfect because revenue fluctuates quite a bit. Holder revenue, decent. Peak daily revenue was from May of this year, logged $175,000. What's interesting here is that, Evan, if you'll recall, we recently did like a little comparative analysis talking about chain or protocol revenue compared to market cap and how different that has been.
Yes.
Wherein like Hyperliquid. So for the record, most traditional companies would be valued. Like if you owned a small business and you were about to be acquired, the calculation would probably be somewhere in the neighborhood of what? I don't know.
Probably
4,
3
5,
to 7
6.
times tops your annualized revenue.
And a lot goes into that. And it's not annualized revenue, by the way. It would be 3 to 7 times EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation
and amortization. Yeah. EBITDA. Great acronym.
So there's, some more math that goes into calculating that number, but there are then some concessions and some amendments that are made depending on the risk of the thing. Like if the only reason anyone is buying stuff from your company is because you are an influencer and people love to buy your personal brand, and then you are selling it to some like random thing and you're no longer going to be associated with it, it would be worth significantly less because the risk there is that most customers will leave when you disappear.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff. So you have to assess the risk, but then you also have to assess growth potential. So typically in the startup space, that ratio is much higher. It's not uncommon to see 10, 15, 20 times when you're looking at overall valuation, especially if something is new and currently exploding.
Yeah.
So potential future growth is weighed in there with a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, it's a big thing. If you wanted to learn more about how valuation works with regards to all that kind of stuff, you could just kind of dig into like mergers and acquisitions, math and data, and it's a rabbit hole. However, we were doing some math and like based on blockchains, Hyperliquid was the best, far and away.
Yeah.
About 1 to 20. It's different now. We did that math a while ago before the token went up in price by over 100% just in the last month.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, you're welcome. Some of us caught that wave a little bit, but I did catch it. So
when I saw Alex write the message, took some profits on Hyperliquid, I was like, my brother in Christ, when did you buy Hyperliquid and why didn't you tell me?
I did. I told everybody repeatedly. Somebody back me up here. I talked about it. I bought it at $36. It's currently $74. Good job, me. Anyway, theirs was pretty decent, especially when you compared it to other blockchains, like even Solana and Ethereum, who do print lots of revenue by the chain, have horrendous market cap to revenue ratios, and they only get worse. Then you look at chains that like don't make any revenue. Oh, it's ridiculous. I'm talking about like market cap compared to revenue generated by the chain, on the chain, whatever. We're not even talking about like EBITDA, just total gross. Even if I took the gross number, it would be like 1 to 40,000, 1 to 150,000, 1 to 300,000. Those are real numbers. I'm not being hyperbolic.
No.
So that's, I say all of that just to drive. Yes.
Cardano, Algorand, Barachain was mocked on Twitter because they made like $23 in revenue or some.
They made like $6. Don't give them.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it is awful. Most things in crypto make no money.
Yeah.
And I'm like a revenue hawk. I don't know why it's a hot take. I don't know why almost no one else is talking about revenue, but like, I think it matters. I don't know. Call me old fashioned. So anyway, what I did.
One last thing real quick. I'm so sorry. Just to say that people might wonder, if they don't make any revenue, then how come they can hire employees? How come I hear about them?
Venture funding.
That's exactly right. They raised a lot of money and
Shitloads.
gave other people tokens so
Tens
that
of
they could
millions
make
of
those
dollars.
tokens worth something by selling them to you in the
Correct.
hopes that one day they'd be a revenue producing company. Continue.
Yeah, you got to remember that in most cases, the token is completely removed from the business.
Totally.
The token is a fundraising method,
Yes.
which is why I don't care about most crypto.
Yeah.
Because
And
it's
why
just
I think it's
used-
foolish for people to be like, but the utility, but the utility, but the utility. But is the
No.
token designed to capture it? No. Mostly it's not. So
Yeah. Think about how many things exist that you could technically do stuff with, but that you wouldn't because it doesn't make any sense. Like, technically, I could use a minivan to put pressure on the floor in my living room when I'm putting fresh flooring down.
Great
I
example.
could do that, but that would be ridiculous. So in most cases, tokens advertising utility is about as practical as driving your minivan into your living room to use it to weigh down floor. I don't know. I just made that up, but honestly, that's pretty good. I might keep that one.
I agree.
So, or back to this OR protocol, their revenue compared to market cap is like 1-to-1. It's almost identical. They almost make more in revenue than the total market cap of the cryptocurrency itself, which I thought was interesting. Immediately, I was like, oh, okay, this is worth paying attention to. So, we continue to go further. This is a great report here. There are, some yield opportunities on OR. That is the first place that I ever became aware of it, is because people can earn yield on it, and the APR is kind of high, so that was worth looking at. There's a few more instances where you can use it for different things. There's not a ton of options. You come down here to the risk framework, which is great. So these are higher risk opportunities to earn yield and money using OR, because it is GambleFi. So there's that. But just worth noting, so the token price itself is down significantly from its overall all-time high. The liquidity depth is relatively shallow, and there's not a tremendous amount of places that it can be traded. So which is just interesting. So all I did with all this was realize, okay, I want to understand what the trend of revenue overall has looked like compared to token price. And so I built a thing in Claude to track that for some of your favorite cryptos, and I'm going to show that now. So hopefully this works here.
Get you.
Let me get rid of this and switch it to a different.
Go for it. And
desktop.
I'm going to say, while you do that, a hello and rise up to Matthew Wiley, the intern, reporting from Tokyo. Good night from Tokyo, he says. And Kukev says, what's this called? Org? No, OR. ORE. It's the token for a GambleFi platform that's been getting a lot of hype, but that we're investigating.
Evan, let the record show. Dan is in the comments vouching for me that Alex called it out when it was 34. That's the only reason I have some. You are welcome. Consider taking profit. Okay. So this is this little widget that I had Claude whip up for me.
That's pretty cool.
Let me see if I can spread. Oh, no. Okay. Can you close this? No, it doesn't matter. Okay. Oh, I can. There we go. Sweet. All right. So I just put 4 tokens in here, but we could go and add whatever you wanted. So the red line here is annualized revenue, and the blue line is the price of the token. So we're going to start with Hype. Hype is basically like mirrored. It's basically the same line. Some little and this is light. This is like the most catching every single little peak and valley. But if we're going back here to now, this is kind of the overall trend of revenue compared to token price.
Yeah.
Pump.fun also follows the same trend.
A couple of divergences, but pretty good.
As you know, the token has been climbing recently. Also, revenue on the platform is now re-climbing again from the beginning of the year.
Also, I think that notable divergence towards the start where the price way exceeds the revenue, I feel like that was around the airdrop when there was a lot of speculative frenzy. And that would make sense to see a divergence at a time like that.
Yeah, it certainly could. We'll do OR last. Here's Aave's. Now, granted, Aave has had other things that have influenced price outside of revenue, but you can see here that it's actually like we got this weird thing here.
Yeah.
But, consistently since 2022, it's been basically following the same sort of chart, just, much lower.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now, let's look at OR. So OR is also perfectly aligned here. However, the platform itself is not cooking.
Yeah, it's going down into the right in terms of the revenue and the price, more or less.
we're just falling. So one thing that I thought was interesting was that technically, so why do I bring all this up? One, just to show you a different little sneak peek into the way that I think about this kind of stuff, or try to, as I try to figure out how to navigate all this shit. But also because you can take an isolated instance wherein, like right here, you know, revenue is high on this particular thing, and the price of the asset is technically underperforming compared to its revenue. However, if we zoom out, you can see that revenue has really, really sharply declined along with the price. So the price is actually following its historic trend here. And now, granted, we don't have a tremendous amount of data. This is not a very old token. However, I just thought it was really interesting that the first of all, the ratio is quite good. You know, so here Aave is sitting at 12 to 15x, or at 1.1, pump at 3, hype at 15 to 19. But anyway, just thought that was interesting. And
interesting.
I, you know, this little widget, I'm trying to build it out into a thing that I can put onto just like a web page that anyone can go and plug things into and chart, but it needs a little bit of work, so bear with me.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but I'm thinking maybe the Crush Insights team can help, because
Probably.
I want your tools to have life in front of an audience of people.
Probably. But so the other thing just to remember too is that I pulled that out of an LLM, because what I was asking was objective questioning. I didn't go in with my mind made up about something. I was trying to gather information about a thing because I was considering buying some ore, because, you know, some of the people who I saw talking about how it was undervalued compared to revenue, first of all, they were speaking my language. We're talking about revenue and a token that's underperforming based on, you know, what the protocol is earning. And then also they just happen to be people that like I know and think are plugged in enough to have a valid take. And now I think that they were either just like looking at something out of context, or they weren't looking at the whole picture, something like that. So
Yeah.
you know, it's a good thing to keep aware of. But the original prompts, I'm happy to share those kinds of things. Just, you know, like how do I go back and forth with an LLM as I'm trying to get objective information about something, and then even still, you know, go through and fact check stuff coming out of whatever your Claude, your ChatGPT, your Perplexity, your Gemini is telling you about these things. I have seen, dude, I've been seeing more and more and more instances of people holding up ChatGPT as a source for credible information. And the thing is that it can be, but it often isn't. And so please, like, if you take one thing from today, please just consider and have in your head that 99% of people using a ChatGPT or another LLM to like build their conviction in a cryptocurrency are probably being lied to by their LLM to make them feel better about a decision that they've already made. And it's not that easy to write an objective prompt. Like, it takes time. I pulled one up the other day, Evan. You and I were going back and forth over one. And do you remember what it was? I asked a question.
I don't remember what it was, but you asked it in a way that it gave you some crap, and I was like, wait a second, and I tweaked it a little, and it gave me like side by side remarkably different answers.
Yeah. So, like, I'll give you an example. One of the ways that I have seen this used constantly is to hold up the XRP thesis.
Yeah. And often it's done with leading questions.
Yeah. You could do this with, I've seen it done with Canton. I've seen it done with all the metal stuff. I've seen it done with all sorts of things. You can do it with Solana. You can do it with Ethereum. You can do it with Bitcoin. You can do it with whatever. And then I also see people who kind of talk about like, well, I'm like going back and forth with it. I'm like asking follow-up questions. You think you are, you just don't quite know enough about prompting to do it well, unfortunately. Just remember, at the end of the day, your LLM wants you to keep using it, which means it wants you to win, which means it wants to make you feel good, and it would rather you be happy than informed. So when you're asking it questions, it's picking up on itty bitty little clues in the way that you frame the question to give you information that it thinks you want to read. And it just makes it up more than half the time.
Yeah. By admission of the creator.
By admission of Sam Altman himself, it hallucinates roughly 48% of the time for the average user. So, Green Hornet nailed it. That is the exact Crypto Vice is, and I don't. He's made some very condescending videos about me, which I thought were hilarious. Like as he drives his audience off a cliff in a bus with no seatbelts on it.
Dude.
But yeah, no, he will ask it things that I guarantee the prompt is like, tell me how amazing XRP is. Tell me why XRP is so incredible. Tell me why it's going to be worth this much money. Give me a price prediction based on whatever. Of course it's going to do that. We could start up a new thread right now in incognito mode, so it's not based on any of my history. And I could say, like, I am heavily invested in Solana, and I think it could do this. Explain to me how it could reach that price. And it's going to be like, oh, this person wants to think, or it asked me, how could it do this?
Yeah,
so
it's going to fulfill your
already
prompt.
departing from reality.
Yeah.
All that stuff is bullshit. If someone is holding up ChatGPT as a source of information, you really, truly need to just walk away, because I promise it's misleading you.
A better alternative to that question, like, tell me how XRP could reach $10, or why will XRP reach $10, would be something like, lay out the bull case and bear case for XRP going up in price. Or you might even give it some context. I hear a lot of hype on social media about the XRP token. Help me separate fact from reality for people who are retail investors, or fact from fiction for retail investors. Something like that. Like, give it some context. Don't let it know that you're a sycophant one way or the other, a hater or a lover. But just ask it. Honest, and ask it if you need help with that.
Yeah.
How can I prompt you better to get more unbiased information? And it will say, here's what you could do.
Yeah. Well, and fight with it too. One thing that I'll usually do with a fresh thread prompt to test like how biased the information is I will just pretend to have been trying to trick it the entire time and just see how it handles that like admission. So like this or thread. My opening prompt is as vague as I can make it. I just said, talk to me about, cash tag or the crypto and the underlying protocol. I want to know everything. And now this is a little bit spoiled because I built a Claude skill that is like an L1 research tool or a crypto research tool. And it just has a series of pieces of information that I want to get every single time. So after that, it ends it with me, being told risk read, regulators are eyeing on-chain gambling models. That's something to be aware of. V2 is a pure like lottery mechanism. It's legally ambiguous in most jurisdictions. At its peak, it hit daily protocol revenue over 600K, taking over Pump.Fun on some days. It has compressed since then, blah, 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 whatever. Then I told it I would like to explore this token as a possible investment. And then it's like, searching online. It's doing all sorts of things that like my particular Claude is trained to. But even still, hackles are up because like it wants me to feel good. And it's deducing that like I've possibly already invested in this thing. And it wants me to like feel okay with my decision. So, blah, blah, blah. We go through here. We hear a bull case. We hear a bear case. And so then I commented on its valuation and we're going back and forth. And I'm like, okay, immediately compare it to other things. So are there any other protocols with revenue that have a ratio to valuation that is this undervalued on paper? Like look at Hyperliquid, for example, compared to other L1s. Then it started like it just came up with this little widget so that you could chart that and kind of back and forth. But at some point then I'm just like, actually, I think that this token is a scam. And it would, push back versus not versus now start giving me more risks or whatever. It's like very malleable. So you just have to be super, 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 super careful. And if you want help, like adding custom instructions to your LLMs to like, prioritize primary sources, to always cite the source, to not guess on anything, to always search, to ask me follow-up questions, to, be as objective as possible. Don't make me feel better about myself, like blah, 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 blah. I have that written everywhere and it literally still does it sometimes. So you just have to be very careful.
We got a lot of questions in the comments, and there are a couple of different things I want to touch on. Back at the start of the show, we had a really good question about liquidity on Stellar and Canton that fits into this conversation perfectly. But first, let me address Cody in the comments, friend of the show, Sivish, who said, hey, been a while since we saw Blockchain Basecamp. If you didn't see the whole episode, you need to check out YouTube because we got to see the new scam detector, the simulator on Blockchain Basecamp. And you might have missed the Crush Insights walkthrough. We were so excited to host Danielle Lukens, who showed us Crush Insights that she launched today. We have got a referral link for it over at the Rise Up website, rumshq.com. I've got it on the screen on YouTube too. Or just head to the link in our bio wherever you are, whenever you listen. We can get you connected. But I am hopeful that it will be a place that we can integrate a lot of the features that Blockchain Basecamp has done. You know how it is, Cody. We have 24 hours in a day. We got a lot of stuff to do. Fortunately, we have a lot of friends too. We were very excited when Danielle said, hey, check out what I'm building. I would love your feedback on it. And we worked out an agreement to say like, hey, well, yeah, have some feedback, but also like, can we rely on you to teach people? Can we house some of our tools on this website? And she was like, yeah, we can do that. We can do that lift. And so we were like, okay, let it be so. God wills it. That kind of thing. We would love for you to check it out. I don't know why I gave it a drum roll, but there we are. And one other thing on the way to this question is Radio Dan said to you, Alex, about taking profits, that in fact, he has been taking profits. He's taking them
Excellent.
to swing trade with and grow his bag, baby. I like that. So the question earlier was asking us about whether or not we expected more liquidity to come onto networks like Stellar, like Canton, that are known right now for doing things like tokenizing real world assets. We had another follow-up question about how Clarity Act would change that. And I just wanted to show you another thing to think about that is missed a lot in the conversations you'll encounter on social media about real world assets, about tokenizing things, about Clarity Act passing and bringing more stuff to blockchain, is not all assets on chain or even all money on chain is created equal. If you haven't seen it before, rwa.xyz is a dashboard that will show you on-chain information.
That's a good one.
And that you can create a little free profile to sign into so that you can verify like what is said in a press release is actually meaningful. There was a fund that used the XRP ledger recently. I feel like it was a JP Morgan fund to settle like $150 million. Ondo was involved somehow in some kind of cross-border payment. And there was a lot of press releases about it. Of course there were. Ripple, Ondo, JP Morgan all have a vested interest in using each other's names together as like industry leading companies. But people were taking away from this like, oh snap, the floodgates have opened. They're settling over $100 million on the XRP ledger. But a site like rwa.xyz will not only let you find exactly what was moved and how, but it will show you the additional activity that's been generated from these things. And if you were to compare like the movement of stablecoins on the Ethereum or Tron network to the settlement of these funds on the XRP ledger, you would notice a couple of interesting discrepancies. You would notice that thousands of people are sending millions of dollars day by day on the Ethereum network, on the Tron network. Every day Tether settles $5 billion of volume in tens of thousands of transactions all around the world. And you would notice that this transaction that is published in a press release is like the only one of its kind, that it appears to be more ceremonial than it is utilitarian. People are moving money on Tether because they need to move money. They don't have a bank. They don't have access to dollars. This is a solution to a serious problem. People are moving money on the XRP ledger because Ondo and Ripple and JP Morgan wanted to write a press release about it. But I will tell you something. If you go into rwa.xyz and look at the Ethereum network and you look at what JP Morgan does there, you will notice that not only does JP Morgan tokenize a lot more things on Ethereum, but they move that money a lot more. The money has, we would say, velocity, meaning more people are using it more often to do more stuff. And in fact, that's kind of the trend. that when big institutions like Fidelity or JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or what have you want to do more than just put an asset on the blockchain, they actually want to use it to settle that money, to move it around, to get it to different people. The number one place they go to tokenize those assets and move them is the Ethereum network. Could that change? Absolutely. Do I expect it to change? No. After the passage of Clarity Act, I don't know about you, Alex, but I personally expect to see companies like Coinbase, who are positioned to benefit, for their stock to go up. Companies like Circle, whose stablecoin next to Tether is the world's leader, to go up in value. And then I expect to see more and more companies tokenizing their own assets, launching their own stablecoins. And probably, though Stellar is definitely used for the tokenization of real world assets, as is Canton. Canton has more tokenized titles than any other network. I don't expect to see those vehicles move a lot of money, because the trend is that the assets tokenized there are more like certificates. People are just saying, yep, I put my house on the blockchain. I put my, portfolio of real estate assets on the blockchain. That's what happens on those networks. Money moves where there is the most security, the most staked asset protecting a network. Nowhere but Ethereum, at least right now.
There's a really good book called The Mystery of Capital that was the first book club book that we did on trust issues.
By Hernando de Soto.
And one of the things that's put forward in that book is this idea that one of the reasons that it appears that capitalism has failed in civilizations outside of like the standard Western world is, one, access to capital, but then also the ability or the inability for that capital to do anything once it does exist somewhere. And it's just, it's one of those things that I try to keep in my head, especially as you look at like, high advertised TVL in certain places. Like there's always subtext. Like, for example, we often will hold up, Ethereum's size as noted in its TVL compared to other blockchains. However, it's worth noting that lots of that is dead. It doesn't move. It can't move. It's locked in contracts that no one has the keys to anymore. So it will always be there. The same thing is true for Solana. Some of Solana's TVL comes from dead pump.fund contracts from the millions upon millions upon millions of tokens that have been launched there. That TVL is useless to everybody. It does nothing. I guess, one could say that it's some supply that is locked up, but in an inflationary token, that doesn't matter quite as much as something, where that's not the case. So it's worth remembering that, like you said, I've seen shill posts where they hold up like some sort of asset manager, like a BlackRock or something, is like going to tokenize some piece of something and put it somewhere, and how that asset or that asset group is worth X trillion dollars in current markets. And so it's often held up and misrepresented compared to like what that value, quote unquote, would be on a blockchain, by saying like, oh, just because it exists here, it is now going to increase the value of the token by however much, because trillions of dollars are going to flow in.
Right.
Those are not dollars. It's an asset valued at something, but someone has to, one, want to buy it, send it somewhere, appropriately value it comparatively with other assets compared to the token that was just created. Like there's a whole lot of fine print that never gets talked about with regards to like a tremendous amount of value coming on chain in some way.
Mm-hmm. Not all value is created equal. Well,
that is, nope, very true. I was really curious about everything we were just talking about, so I just tried to trick my Claude, and here's proof that the instructions really do work. So definitely put them in, because but I'm going to hold this up just because it did still kind of a little bit. I just wrote this prompt, which is just hilarious. I said, I think ICP, the crypto, is going to explode in price and make a new all-time high.
What did it say?
Ridiculous.
First of all,
and I was like, I want to give it some more. What else can I say? I was like, they have this thing where you can lock your tokens for a really long time for a really good return. And I think more people are going to do that because the rates are so good. How could you not? How could more people doing that push the price of the token up? And the first thing it says is, your instinct about staking, locking supply has merit. You ever seen that joke that's just like asking ChatGPT, like, hey, chat, I just I just had 6 beers. Am I good to drive home? And it's like, absolutely. In fact, driving, whatever, it was just like some, like self-aggrandizing, like, fluffy piece about how like it's actually going to enhance your something and prove to build your driving skill greater over time. Like that's the vibe that these LLMs want to give you. It did then start to poke holes in everything and like go back and forth. But if you just took, let me try this actually in like a fresh, let's ask a totally different LLM that I never use. Let's ask Copilot. I never use Copilot. And see what it's.
Copilot is Gemini. You don't use Gemini?
Copilot is not Gemini. Copilot is Microsoft's LLM. Gemini is Google's LLM.
Man, who am I? Somebody help me out here. I'm losing it. I'm slipping.
Damn it. Even my Copilot is poking holes in this.
Is it? That's great. You really have taught your children well.
I've taught them to. No, guys, I'm trying to prove a point.
Mine, I've got mine mostly up to scratch too, so that if I ask it a question like that, it'll be like, let's separate the truth from what is told, or whatever. It says, it pushes back. That's a good framing, but you're actually missing some nuance. And I'm like, okay, GPT, I see you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But then occasionally it just throws it all out the window and it's like, absolutely, Evan, you and Kimberly aren't having an argument. You're fighting for the truth of this relationship. I don't know. Kimberly, I don't talk to GPT about you. I'm just, making a silly example.
Yeah, there's a lot of really funny memes about just ridiculous things that people have asked their ChatGPT for.
Yeah.
Although there was also one with Claude that was just held up where it was like, hey, the convenience store is 100 feet from my house. Should I drive or walk? And it's often like, it'll tell you to drive based on this like big long thing about preserving your energy or something. And Claude, and I think it's possible that someone like trained it to say this answer, but it's just like, walk, you lazy ass. And it's like, all right, that's funny.
Yeah, Bearded notes it. It's true. Talking to GPT about relationships is dangerous. Having a relationship with GPT, haven't met anyone yet who's done that, but I've seen some pretty strong.
Seen them online. It's
GPT delusion. Getting relationship advice in ChatGPT is wild. LMAO. Yeah, exactly. Okay. If you've got relationship advice from an AI, if you've got a good conspiracy theory or a question, then let us know. We're at about that time we need to ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset. And shout out to all of the regular friends of the show for being here. We love to see you. Like you, Carol, I laugh along with us every single morning. Alex, we've got Dixie Fireboy, who's got a question about rain. I would love to see that. And then let me give one more quick commercial. If you're like Bearded and you got to go to work now because your tractor is calling, then hey, we understand. Don't forget, you can catch up to the show on YouTube or your favorite podcasting platform. And today is a day you'll want to check up on because, like Cody asked about Blockchain Basecamp, we saw that today as part of our segment on Crush Insights. Okay. Danielle Lukens and the team at Crush Media have launched Crush Insights. CrushInsights.io is the website. But if you go to rumshq.com, right there at the front of the page, we have got a link that you can use to help our show when you join that community. They built it on top of the Engine Circle, which is what we use for our community. And they have got portfolio manager. They have got sample portfolios for politicians, influencers, crypto stocks, ETFs, a full suite of courses that are actually quite good. That'll take you from I know nothing about crypto to experienced, confident, safe user, give you some trading tips. It's excellent. And they're going to build out more over time. And you know how we feel about all this stuff. We're very picky about the kinds of tools and people we share our platform with. But Danielle has done great work as an educator. I'm very excited for people to get under the hood and start to see what she's built, and then for us to continue helping her iterate. They have a great platform and the infrastructure to build those things out and said to us, why don't you give us your feedback, share this with your audience. They want your feedback. And then we want to build more together. I want to get Blockchain Basecamp live in that thing. So stay tuned for that. Check it out with the link at the bio. And if you don't know about our community, like Pittsburgh down there who said, where do I find that? We've got a totally free community where you can ask a question, share what you know, learn, grow with us. And we say, rise up. Don't have to do anything fancy to join. You just go to the link in our bio, wherever you are, whenever you listen, or remember community.rumshq.com. That's the website. And once you get there, create a free profile and you're off to the races. Send us a message in any channel. Let us know you're new there. And then check out the premium membership. It's $30 a month. You can try it free for 10 days. And it includes access to office hours. Me, Alex, and Will host group coaching calls every single week where you can come and for no additional cost, ask us a question or just hang out. We have a lot of fun. I really look forward to my time in office hours every week. And if you want one-on-one time, then the premium membership gets you discounted access to our coaching sessions. I charge $3.99 for a 90-minute session that gets a recording, a transcript, a bunch of notes and homework for follow-up, but you can get $100 off every single coaching session if you're a premium member, because they really are the very best part of what we do. Check it out, community.rumshq.com. Alex, did I buy you enough time to check out Rain? Based on that face, I'm going to answer one more question while Alex pulls it up. Georgios wants to know, does Will discuss stocks in the premium group too after work? We can talk about whatever you want. Absolutely. And in fact, one of the things we've talked about is getting friend of the show, Kenneth Suna, that a lot of people love for his stock teaching tips, his own little corner in the Circle community, Ken's Corner. I want to have him as a guest at office hours. And I actually texted him, Alex, about joining us in New York on June 8th. He's going to be out of town.
Yeah, he's actually he's closer to my part of town right now.
Oh.
They are house sitting. So he's not gonna be.
That's right. But yes, we can talk about stocks. We have a lot of very informed stock traders, not only in the free community, but in the premium community too. I'm thinking about Magic and Michael and Bearded. Everybody who gets together there, has some experience and is willing to share it. The only thing missing is you. It's the stuff we wish we had when we were starting to learn. Love to see you there, Georgios. And Albert, I'm going to answer this question too, who asks, is there any website or account you'd recommend to get airdrop information? Yeah, there's a rotating cast of people on crypto Twitter that will talk about airdrops. I would say one of the highest signal things you could do is get a good Twitter algorithm. Crush Insights will help with that. We are giving Danielle our suggestions for the people that we follow to stay in tune with that kind of thing. If I had to recommend one though, this is not a person who posts about like airdrop alpha, but he is somebody who's looking at it all the time, is our friend Gian, aka Rudo. He's been on the show. Gian the Rios is his @ If you're in podcast land, I'm going to show his profile on screen. Looks like this. And he would certainly welcome a DM from you that says, hey, came from Rise Up, heard your alpha on airdrops, and I just want to know who are some accounts you're following right now. And I'm sure he'll ping you right back. He would be glad to do it. The other thing I would say is you should go to airdrops.io. It's a free to use website that has a dashboard that is sourced from like crowd-funded information about different airdrops that are either ongoing, upcoming, confirmed. And often when you click into them, you can find out not only what is the platform issuing the airdrop, but how do you get the airdrop? If it's confirmed, they'll tell you exactly what you need to do step by step. A lot of it is very tedious, Albert. Also, last thing for now, got the notification, Alex. According to CoinGecko, Solana is back under $80.
Huzzah.
Even as Hyperliquid continues to climb. At least we got something. You know what I'm talking about, man? If we can't get Hyperliquid.
Something.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Okay, so what's Rain, Alex?
So Rain is, quote, decentralized infrastructure for building and operating prediction markets on any conceivable event built on Arbitrum. So it's like it's not an app.
Say that again. What about one on Arbitrum?
It's I don't know. It sounds a little bit.
Read it to me again, because I missed the first part. I just zooped out.
All right, brace for buzzwords.
Yeah.
Decentralized infrastructure for building and operating prediction markets on any conceivable event.
Okay,
on Arbitrum.
That's not the Rain that I know. The Rain that I know is like a middleware for people who want to, I don't know if it's, they work with Arculus, they work with Stripe, they work with Bridge, they work with Privy. They're like,
that Rain.
That Rain is the one I'm thinking about.
I
think-
don't know that that's the Rain. Do they have a token?
Hang on.
I would assume that we're getting asked about this because this token has pumped.
Yeah. Oh, Rain.xyz is the one. It's a stablecoin payments platform for the tokenized future. That's their headline. And we got to market that, work on that. I
Yeah.
get it. But, yeah, it's a single API. They help companies launch stablecoin powered cards. So let me just tell you, I don't know anything about this other one that like lets you launch a prediction market on Arbitrum. I would definitely tell you, though, that one will probably have more immediate revenue hype over a token. Rain is a more serious, legitimate company that actually helps move a ton of
Well,
money.
and something to be actually, I'm going to pull this token up because I have a speculation that it's declined from its all-time high, but I could be wrong. Okay, there are several Rains.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane. Look at that. Let's see. Dixie
Oh, okay.
Fireboy, tell us
Yep.
which rain you're talking about.
a month, so it's up like 80% in the month. That is that the one? Number 201.
Gotta be it. You got a screen share you can hit us with, so we can look at that chart.
Yeah.
with you?
Okay. Yeah. So this is that one.
This.
Hold on. Here it comes.
Yes. Let's see.
Weird. So been out since. What is that? About nope. Like September of 25. Interesting step ups here, coming down from a new all-time high a little bit that it made. What is that? Just yesterday or 2 or 3 days ago?
Yeah. And it looks like I can see over there on their social feature that Rain is about to unlock what looks like a significant amount of tokens.
Yeah. There's a bunch of unlocks still coming, like worth hundreds of millions of dollars. In March, they had a shitload unlock. It looks like one initial catalyst that pumped it is some NASDAQ listed company that I've never heard of disclosed a treasury allocation into this token, which triggered an initial run out of obscurity. But I don't know if this one is like querying the right thing, because this is not a token that has ever really been obscure. It kind of just launched and has been sort of trending up in a weird line ever since.
Yeah. And I mean, 8.6 billion market cap is really like
No.
nothing to sniff at.
It's looking at the right thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's worth noting this is like supposed to be a governance protocol or a governance token eventually. It is currently nothing except a vehicle for speculation. But they do have some sort of advertised like buyback and burn thing, which, is sort of in vogue right now. So that tracks. They're not unique in that sense either. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to spend a little more time looking at this, because it presents as weird. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an opinion on this right now, except that I wouldn't touch it as it stands, but I'll look a little more. I feel like I'm reading two different things right now. Yeah,
and I can switch back to see if Stecklerish has given us some further context on which rain, but I think based on that, it's the moment. The one of the moment is that one. Two quick questions, and this will be like my final thought-ishness, because we got to go, man. We got to round this thing out. We got more shows to do this week. We got to get packed for New York. I don't know about you, man, but I just barely unpacked. So
yeah, well, we literally did just unpack, but we're
first, let me say for Fancy Pants, we've talked about Venice earlier in the episode. We've been talking about Venice for like 2 years. If you want to hear the thoughts on that, got to go to YouTube, got to go to Podcast Land. Definitely worth your time. Rob Newstead, friend of the show over on Facebook. Good to see you, Rob. Wants to know about when our Rums wallets will arrive. Listen, man, the Rums wallet, the purple wallet, has not yet gone to production. We just got a production proof finished. We're going to pick them up in New York. You must be patient, my friend. I'm sorry it's taking so long, but that's what happens when you build something from scratch. We are still actively in the pre-sale phase. If you order a purple wallet, you will get one delivered to you as soon as they are ready, hot off the press. If you don't know about the Purple Wallet, they are from sponsor of the show, Arculus, the official cold wallet sponsor of Rise Up.
You got to get a different one that you can hold up.
I know, dude. Instead of having an XRP wallet, wouldn't you like to have one with everybody's faces in that beautiful Rise Up purple? Well, now you can. Protect your assets, not just with Arculus, but with the Arculus Rise Up co-branded wallet issued by Arculus, made by the fine folks at Compost Secure, just like the Visa in your wallet. We would love for you to sign up. The link
or the Amex or the MasterCard
or basically name a card that moves money and
the
Compost
MetaMask
Secure
card, the Gemini
makes it
card, the Coinbase Bitcoin card.
Their name is probably in your wallet.
Probably.
You can sign up, pre-order your wallet now at the form on our website, rumshq.com, or in the community.rumshq.com. Same price as a regular Arculus, and we would love to have your support. I also wanted to hit this question by Pittsburgh, who asked, is the price of Sol such that it's a good investment? And I said to him, price doesn't matter. I'll explain. Alex, do you see a lot of people maybe on social media talking about price of assets?
Yep.
And something I hear a lot, I bet you do too, is, well, it's just the price is too high. Bitcoin is too expensive, so I'm going to buy XRP instead.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that logic?
What isn't wrong with that logic?
Well, I'm not sure. That's why I'm asking you. I'm learning about crypto on social media, and you're an expert.
The first thing that I would remind everyone is that all of these things are different. So comparing them is like saying, I'm not going to buy a Dodge Caravan right now because the Ninja Creamy is on sale at Costco. It's just kind of a nonsense comparison that we make consistently because they're both technically cryptos. But, due to the nature of like what is a token, anything can be a token. So you would never, like, if you had tokens that compared Dodge Rams and coffee pots, you would never like look at those two things as being like the same idea. I'm trying to choose between whether or not I go long on coffee pots or on Dodge Rams. It's kind of one of those things. So the first flaw that I see is if we're comparing like two things that are fundamentally and completely different, we're already like starting ourselves off on, on bad footing. You're already like not having an honest, objective conversation about the things you're comparing. A more sensible comparison in crypto land would be like ETH versus Solana. They are both layer 1 blockchains that are aiming to be general purpose. They want everyone to build everything on them. A bad comparison would be Bitcoin to XRP, the one that was just made. One of them is smoke and mirrors and really good branding and a strong marketing department. And the other one is like not meant to do anything except be better money than we've had before.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I don't even know. I mean, right away, I think the question is flawed. Price doesn't matter as much as, like overall valuation of the project. That's more important. The price is completely dependent on how many of these things existed. Someone could, print a token that only has a supply of one, but it's infinitely divisible. And you can buy like 1/100 billionth of it if you want to. So the price of that one single crypto could be $30 trillion, but you could still only buy 5 cents of it. I'm being ridiculous with these numbers to prove a point. What's more important if you're interested in like one specific thing to have reasons to think about them objectively, to assume that you could be wrong, and to ask yourself like, okay, what has this thing done so far in its lifespan? Is it just kind of like trending down? Is there a reason that I think it could turn around, or am I just kind of hopeful because I bought too much of it 3 years ago and it's lower now than it was then? Whatever. Honestly, it's a really, really, really hard conversation to have. Like whenever, it seems like an innocuous, easy question. Like, hey, is Sol a buy right now? I don't know, man. It depends on so many things. It depends on your personal budget. Can you afford to be investing in more things right now? How much risk are you willing to take? How much time are you willing to wait? How much time are you planning on waiting? Are you trying to trade something within the span of 1 hour, or are you buying something that you want to tuck away for a year and not look back at again? There's 30 million follow-up questions that you just, I don't know the answer to, so I couldn't possibly give you an objective answer to that question, unfortunately.
But that would be the kind of thing that we would talk about in office hours
Yeah.
or in like a one-on-one coaching session. That gives you the space, the time, the context to answer. Or even if you join the free community, you know, we can back and forth, get to know you, send
Yeah,
us
for
a
sure.
post about what you hold, why, what kind of, you know, we'll just follow up. And over the course of a couple of weeks, we'll really get to know each other better. And then we can speak more specifically, like to your situation. What might be a good next step, a thing to learn, a thing to check, a question to ask? I personally tend to look at network effects. Going back to the example of Bitcoin, Bitcoin was the first time in history that we effectively divorced the issuance of money from the state. That is hugely significant.
Yeah.
And we've made better tech the same way that somebody could come up with a better universal language that everybody could speak than English or Mandarin that would help us all communicate better. But the other thing that Bitcoin or any good investment, in my opinion, has is distribution, network effects. Bitcoin may not be the fastest, it may not be the cheapest, but
that's
millions
not the
of
point.
people around the world use it. Governments, companies hold it. Individuals hold it. People want more of it. And it would be friction for
You're
them to
holding
switch
up.
to
You're
something
holding
else.
up though, and I just think it's worth fixating on this. Not that you said something incorrect,
yeah.
but you hold up a very common argument that I hear against Bitcoin. It's slow and expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the point. It's a feature, not a bug.
That's right.
You know, just to stick with my vehicular analogies train here, that would be like saying that a Caterpillar 50-ton dump truck has a terrible 0 to 60.
Yeah.
Sure, no one's drag racing dump trucks. If they are, let me know where I can watch
Sign
it.
me up. I'd like to watch that.
But the point is to carry a tremendous amount of weight in one vehicle and not have the vehicle crumple underneath it, right? Like no one cares about the 0 to 60 on a tractor. They care about whether or not it has enough torque to pull that heavy, you know, plow through a field and till that much land behind it without them having to do the whole thing by hand. There are specific purposes to specific things, and it's okay if a thing doesn't do everything. Only in crypto do we believe that everything that is tokenized has to be the fastest and cheapest. When I can hold you up tons of examples of fast, cheap things that are worth nothing.
Yeah, and mostly I would say that that's an opinion that's peddled by people. I'll tell you frankly, you don't have to take my word for this, but for now, since if you're asking that question, you probably haven't been here as long. Take my word that most people who are peddling that opinion are not the people who are building the tractors.
Yeah.
They don't usually know what they're talking about. That's an uninformed opinion. I would if I was scrolling through crypto TikTok or Facebook and I saw a creator talking about Bitcoin won't work because it's not fast or cheap, I would almost certainly dismiss them. I would not take them as a credible source of information. But network effects, that's the thing. We could make a better language than English. We can make a better social media than Facebook. But even if we did, it would be painful for all the billions of people who speak English or use Facebook to spend the time to learn a new language. So liquidity begets liquidity. Everybody buys Bitcoin because everybody already uses Bitcoin. It solves the problem it needs to. It does it well enough that many people use it. And that, we call it network effect. That massive distribution is one of the things that sort of entrenches its likely future growth. I'm not buying Bitcoin because it's the cheapest. I'm buying Bitcoin because 1 cent of Bitcoin versus 1 cent of XRP, in my estimation, is more likely to be worth more in the future. That's what I'm doing here. Somebody in the comments said different strokes for different folks, Bird Smith. And
Sure.
If you're not here to make money, that's cool. I'm down with that. I'm here for the revolution. But when I'm spending money on something like Bitcoin, it's because I want the most likely vehicle to turn my dollars today into more dollars tomorrow. So XRP is just not interesting for me because it's a meme coin. It's not in a meaningful way designed to capture any of the value that Ripple, the company, might generate.
That's again, that's not the point of that token. The point of that token is to be a revenue source for a company that wants to make a lot of money.
That's exactly right. And it's tremendously effective at that. They have raised more money than God because people buy their token, because people don't understand tokenomics, how tokens are designed. They don't understand blockchain. They are fooling themselves because they listen to folks like Crypto Vice, who's asking chat and holding it up as a paragon of truth. You will be deceived and you will lose a lot of money if that is what you are looking at. And if you are not here for the money, maybe you just like Ripple, the company, and like their branding and want to invest by like, the way somebody invests in a sports team. There are a lot of people who buy Atlanta Falcons jerseys and Michael Jordan cups who are never going to make money off of Michael Jordan's career, but that's not the point for them. And if that's how you feel about crypto, then great. Buy the hat, buy the token.
Yep.
If you're trying to make money and you're not buying Bitcoin because it's too expensive, you're asking the wrong question.
But see, again, that sort of implies like a long-term, what can I invest in over time sort of thing.
A dog.
They decided, I'm going to start a bitey face fight directly underneath my desk. It's just one of those things, because for example, I know some people who are, emotionless day traders who trade XRP because its brand is quite persistent. It is as close to ubiquitous as you can get inside of crypto. People have heard of it. It has a lot of staying power. All of this is independent of whether or not it's nonsense or like over hyped up vaporware. But the fact is that it's probably not going to zero. There's a tremendous amount of oomph behind it. There's a large company that has an extremely vested interest in it continuing to exist, and in them continuing to have things that can be misconstrued as, the next big catalyst that could finally be the thing that sends it to $1 gajillion. So, in that sense, short-term trades, you can trade absolute garbage in crypto and make money. That part is completely independent.
Crypto Machinery said, Crypto Vice looks like a retired Ninja Turtle. And while I don't want to encourage any kind of bullying, there's been a murder in the comments that was absolutely savage, and it did make me LOL. The best thing we can do is hold up a different model. When somebody like that has a loud voice, it's good to remember that it's not always the most helpful. And we would want you to do the same for us, right, Alex? If you ever hear anything on our show, even if you are inclined to agree with it, we love the skeptical question. We don't want you to take our word for it, to borrow our conviction, and we want to help you inform your own.
Skepticism makes the world go round. And if you're investing, if you're putting your money that you worked for into something as questionable and sketchy as crypto, you should be asking a lot of questions. It should be really hard to convince you to buy a cryptocurrency. Especially if you are interested in investing and not day trading. And I think that's one of those, one of the many things that leads people to losing tons of money in crypto is that coming in with the investor's mindset, but then trying to act like a day trader and just getting hosed.
Yeah. And knowing the difference, like Dan in the comments has really grown his acumen and ability to trade effectively.
Yeah.
And
Dan's
also,
a great example of someone who asks
investing.
a shitload of questions and is hard to convince.
So you really do have to be, and it's not enough to have conviction or do your own research, because not all research is created equal. If you read the white paper and you're reading the press releases, but you don't have a critical eye to understand that Ripple published this, or most of their information is not on chain and therefore verifiable, that's okay. And if I'm talking past you, let us know. We do not want to talk past you. We know sometimes we speak a little inside baseball. We never want to come across as too technical, but we do want you to have a healthy respect and appreciation for some of the knowledge that is foundational that will help you evaluate. Hey, Alex and I are not technical guys. We love this stuff and get nerdy about it, but hopefully are a clear example to you that if we can learn it, Will would say the same thing. If we can learn this stuff, you can too. This is not nice to know technical information. In my mind, these kinds of things, what is a blockchain? How does it work? How are tokens designed to capture value? What is the history of the internet, of venture capital? Those are little things that you should know something about if you are going to be buying cryptocurrency tokens, pre-product investments.
Yep.
If you want to make money. Okay, man. We've been going on all morning. I keep saying we're going to get out of here, but now I really am coming to you for what I will ask you for, a final thought. Or another great analogy, because you've had several today. I really like the dump truck. I really like the van leveling the floor in the living room. That was actually my favorite. That was quite
that was
good.
better than I expected it to be when I started walking down that
Using a
was like,
vehicle
oh, this
as
is
a
going to be a
paperweight.
terrible analogy.
Ding.
I don't know. Yeah, I would just triple down. When you're talking about like, where you're considering putting money that you worked for, like there's a million trillion things that you can do with money. They're not all created equal, and most of them are terrible. So just like be a little harder to convince that something is worth like a chunk of your paycheck every single week. Like be a little harder to convince that something is not worth taking profits on if you find yourself up. Be more skeptical, ask more questions. When you see someone in a live stream, especially on TikTok and on other social media, talking about like why this one is the best and the end all be all, and they just immediately come across as not being objective or being a little biased or having their mind made up, like push back on it. The way that they respond to that will tell you all you need to know about whether or not that person is a credible source of information.
Did I tell you that when I went into Crypto Vices Live, I always asked, what would make you change your mind? And he said, nothing. Nothing will make me change my mind. I was like,
yeah. I mean, he's a perfect example of a terrible teacher. And I feel better throwing some shade because one time I said one thing like relatively innocuous about it, and then he made like a 10-minute long whining, ranty, crying video about how much he hates me and how much I'm a schlub. So like, that dude's a putz. He doesn't know anything. He knows how much he really likes being, stroked by his ChatGPT, and that's it. So like, go ask that guy an objective question about XRP. He'll probably just block you. He'll probably call you. What is he? He calls people names in the chat all the time. Like if someone brings up something, he'll just start.
Yeah,
like,
I noticed that.
fun of you
And often
calling you names.
he misunderstands people. He'll be like, "Oh, you trying to come for me?" And then later they'll be like, "No, I didn't mean any disrespect. This is what I meant." And he'll be like, "Oh."
Yeah, he's
sorry.
very
I apologize. Like, okay, man.
Which
chill.
if you really aren't confident in the information that you're putting forth, then you're going to be a little pricklier.
I would
just
be too.
Be harder to convince, be more skeptical, ask more questions, and push back on people on live streams because most of us are full of shit.
Beautiful.
And like Evan said, ask questions about anything. Like I'm here to learn just as much stuff. Just because you know things doesn't mean you're like automatically a teacher. So like, if I'm saying something and you're like, well, what about? Maybe I don't know about the what about, but I definitely want to know about it.
Right. Like, how could I use my Sequoia to put on a new roof? I have absolutely no idea, but surely
technically
some
you
intrepid
could
roofer-
put a giant ramp next to your house and drive the shingles from the front yard to the top of the ladder by using a Sequoia. But like, would you? No, you wouldn't.
It's like some red green stuff. Did you ever see the Red Green Show?
Of course.
Oh my gosh, that's a Midwest blast from the past. If you haven't seen it, look up the Red Green Show. It's like home improvement on steroids, wholesome, funny, and a good reminder of how duct tape really can fix everything with a little imagination. Okay, my final thought is going to be to say, hey, we got your question about Hyperliquid. What do we think about the future prospects? We talked about it earlier in the episode. We did not talk much about the future, but I had a conversation in office hours with the folks there about this, and I wanted to touch on this. What could change my mind about Hyperliquid? Alex and I joke back and forth about this. So let's do a round.
A handful of things.
A handful of things. So the first one for me, and then I'll kick it to you, is competition. Hyperliquid is winning because it has a great tech stack, but it's easy to copy the tech stack. It's hard to copy the liquidity.
Yeah, they're in a category of one right now, but like people are trying. And
Yeah,
right
Aster
now,
notably tried pretty effectively, but it didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't work. I mean, Jito's about to try. JTX is going to try. Phoenix is trying.
Pacifica is trying. It is
Pacifica
a big
is
nut
trying.
to crack. And some
for
people
sure.
are making meaningful attempts. They're throwing airdrops at it. They're throwing incentives at it. And
Which
Hyperliquid is still coming up strong.
I mean, because that's one of those things that can go both ways. Like seeing a bunch of people like try and fail to overtake you can reinforce conviction in the original thing that becomes like harder to dethrone. But it's very revenue driven. So if a huge chunk comes out of their revenue for whatever reason, I mean, maybe something like that gets more heavily regulated. Maybe something comes of it, whatever. They could suffer a major exploit. It's possible. I'm sure that everybody and their grandmother is trying to hack that thing right now.
Big time.
In 15 different ways. So that, you could see a major security vulnerability get exposed. Revenue could bleed off. I don't know. Something could happen with the team. You could have like political drama. You could have there's all sorts of things. The list of like what could happen to make me lose faith in a crypto is longer than I am tall.
I want to say really quickly, shout out to our friend Why Not for all the little gift barrage in the comments.
Hey.
Solom, a new gift officer is coming for you. I just wonder what seems likely. And to me, the things that seem likely are, as more competitors have emerged, the share of perps on chain that Hyperliquid has grown smaller. Like the perp space has grown bigger, very big over the last like 4 or 5 years. But since Hyperliquid has really achieved dominance, they've gone from having about a 50% share at their peak to now they've got about 30% share of perps trading based on my last check. You'd want to check for, whenever you listen to this episode, what that number is. But I also think now that stocks are going to 24/7, that there's a world where, I don't know, the New York Stock Exchange says, and now next week we'll be on chain.
Yeah.
And somebody like the New York Stock Exchange endorsing a commodity or an ETF, but now it's a token and you can trade a perpetual for it. You're going to trade it on their platform. Their partners are going to trade it. You know what I mean? Even if Hyperliquid is quote unquote better, they're going to copy the tech to the best of their ability, but then offer it in the official licensed wrapper. And they've got more money than Hyperliquid does. It's not even close. You know what I mean? Like that would be the kind of thing I'd be looking for. But right now it's their game to lose.
Yep.
And I'm trying to get some.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go. Another show to an end. I want to show you this, Alex, on the way out the door. This is from the Rise Up account. This was us last week in Miami. People were commenting on your white shirt because they were like, damn, Alex has expanded his color palette.
I own several white shirts.
Yeah, he has really come into his own. And I got to say, I know you're a dark mode maxi, but I'm liking the light mode. The new era.
Yep. Could be the move.
Could be the move.
I
Okay.
don't know. It was hot.
It was hot. Hot in Miami, but it was cool to be there with you, man. Thanks again to Super Team for trusting us to help with their go-to-market stuff. We are going to have more content coming out from that. We're going to be in New York making content. There's more shows this week. Tune into Market Watch tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. Then come back tomorrow for another episode of the Rise Up Morning Show. Until then, everybody, thank you for being the very best part of what we do. On the way out the door.
Don't.
How tall are you? I'm 6'3". I'm in tall Dow, man.
I'm
And that
5'11".
hat makes me look even taller. Honestly, I just couldn't.
I've never felt short in my whole life till I came to crypto.
What the
and
heck is it? Where did
Freaking
they put the
everybody's
water?
just tall for no
Everybody's
reason.
tall. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Cody,
And even if
Cody,
you're
how
not
tall are you?
Dow. Yeah. Is he
Cody
tall Dow?
Bueller?
Yeah. Right. Crickets in the chat. Even if you're not in tall Dow, you really are the very best part of what we do. And until next time, my friends, stay safe, be well, everybody.